welcome to episode number 82 of the Avocado Gamescast, the only gaming podcast on the internet that references Pokeroo, Om Shanti Om, and Enid Blyton. I'm Merve, and today we've got something very special lined up for you folks. We talk a lot on this podcast about YouTube, Twitch, and the online video ecosystem, since it's a huge part of the modern gaming landscape. So, we thought, why not actually talk to someone who works in that ecosystem and get their thoughts on the state of gaming video content in the year 2022? Everybody, please give a warm welcome to MP.
Hello, guys.
Hey, MP. So nice to have you. And of course, as usual, we have our fearless editor, the Kappa, who set this all up for us.
Episode 82, man. That is, wow.
Yeah. We're approaching the big 100.
Yeah.
Which I think we'll hit some point next year. So I am excited.
Awesome.
I've done 82 of these things. Wait, have you done 82 of these things since 2016?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Pretty. Well, we've had some ups and downs in scheduling. Kind of more of a when it's ready mentality. But yeah, 82.
Yeah.
When you put it like that, it just feels so much more.
Yeah. This is the fifth location that I've recorded a podcast because I've moved so many times in the past few years. Like I did a move across the United States and then moved back to Canada. So I've been all over the map in the past few years, and every time I'm recording like a different location. So it's been a long time.
When we do hit 100, we're gonna have to have a little recording in for our Estonian fan base. You know, maybe learn some Estonian and give them some shout outs. I don't even know. Do they speak Russian?
No, they speak Estonian, which is related to Finnish.
We got our work cut out for us because those languages aren't easy. So
yeah, Finnish is related to basically no other language. I think it's other than Estonian. I think the closest language to Finnish is Hungarian. I want to say. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a linguist. So
don't anger them, man. You know, we're number 3 over there. You don't want us to try.
Yeah, I think we're the number. I forget what it was. It was like the 20-something most popular gaming podcast in Estonia. I got this cold email in my junk mail one day saying, "Hey, come join our podcast service because Estonians love you." I'm like, it must be like 2 people from Estonia who listen to this podcast one time.
All it takes.
So, shout out to Estonia, Tallinn. Love that city, even though I've never been. Other Estonian cities, I'm sure they're also great if I could name them. Thank you to pretty much all the Baltic states, even Latvia. We love you there too.
Yeah.
So let's just start off by talking about what we've been playing lately. MP, I know you're in the Twitch ecosystem and you're probably playing stuff for your Twitch audience. Kappa, what have you been playing lately?
Oh man, I've gotten on like a little strategy kick out of nowhere again. I started up a game on Game Pass that I think is kind of like the perfect Game Pass game. It's called Warhammer Battle Sector. So you know how like 40K Warhammer, there's like 10 billion games a year that come out now with Warhammer, and it's like you have no clue if any of them are going to be any good or not.
They're all so different from each other. I don't even know why the Warhammer license gets slapped on some of these.
It's barely a license anymore, right? Like it just feels like a setting.
Space Marines and orcs in the same medieval orcs in the same setting. Like how are Vermintide and 40K both Warhammer?
Yeah,
I don't know.
This looks like a very futuristic StarCraft or something like that. I don't even know what I'm looking at.
It's a really weird This I'm pretty sure if it's not Matrix games, it's Matrix games adjacent. So Matrix games makes like hardcore war games, right? Like the top down look at a ton of graph type war games, you know. And so I think this was kind of an entry into that for them. If it's not Matrix, like I said, it's someone close to them, but it very much plays with like the chance to hit, chance to miss, unit types, drop in a hero, does the hero do good damage against this type of thing? And it's a very small scale Warhammer game. So Warhammer games usually are like, I don't know, let's throw 10 million units at each other and see which one walks away type stuff. This is not like that. It's very small scale combat for a Warhammer game. You're basically trying to save a planet from an invasion, more or less. But what I like about this is the kind of game, like I'm always so high on Game Pass, right? But this is exactly to me the kind of game that's like, I wouldn't buy this for $30, but I'll play it for free on Game Pass, and I end up enjoying it like every time. Do you know what I mean? And it's like your expectations are like, well, if it sucks, I just delete it, and I'm not out anything. So, but that's really where I've been kind of going lately with a lot of these games. And what's interesting now is you're seeing Sony kind of dip some toes into the market, right, for Game
Yeah.
Pass.
They just
And
started their new streaming service, which is codenamed Spartacus. I think it's called PS Premium or something. I should look this up.
there's like 3 levels of it.
Yeah.
It's complicated, but this is like when a lot of people, Sony's like, well, we're not going to put our first party games day one on Sony. Or on whatever it is. That's a mistake, right? I mean, like Halo, it comes out and you can play it on Xbox. That's on Game Pass immediately, right? That's the big draw of Game Pass. But I think what Sony should maybe do if they're not going to do that is kind of copy this system. Get a bunch of these $20-$30 games that people might take a chance on, right? And then that's what you kind of are putting onto your system. But I mean, when you're not having your Guardians of the Galaxies and your Halos on there, I don't know. But this ended up being a real fun, like, 2-3 day type game, maybe 20-30 hours. $20-$30 price point seems about right for it, but I really liked it. Spent a lot of time with it, kind of min-max some builds, really found a couple units I love. I don't know a lot about the Warhammer world, except for like Warcraft and Starcraft ripped off Warhammer. So like everything in my mind is like, oh, this is a
Wait, did Warhammer came first?
Yeah. So
really? How old is Warhammer?
It's a million years old. It's like a tabletop RPG.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so there was a big rights fight. Originally, Blizzard thought they were going to be making a Warhammer and like a Warhammer 40K and a Warhammer like medieval game. They couldn't get the rights, which is hilarious now to think about, right? Like Blizzard couldn't get Blizzard could probably buy Warhammer right now if they wanted to, but Blizzard couldn't get the rights. So instead, what they did was they made Warcraft, which is basically, I mean, down to like the unit design, the old style of Warhammer, and they made StarCraft, which is Warhammer 40K.
Yeah. Warhammer dates back to 1983.
Yeah.
1983.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have
my
some
God.
lore in there too that is like it's like from the 70s. Like I think it evolved from some type of like writings that some guy somewhere did, but it's interesting. But like when you see like how diluted the license has gotten now, like I'm excited for Space Marines and a bunch of other stuff, but I bet you there's 20 Warhammer games a year. I mean, I don't even doubt that, right? So thinking about how Blizzard couldn't secure the license, and now they're rolled up into a sale to Microsoft, and Warhammer's still trudging along, putting out games like this that are coming out on Game Pass. It's kind of funny, But this is the kind of game I think that's made for Game Pass. So
there are at least 5 this year.
At least 5. Like
if you count
like
Blood Bowl,
releases, right?
I don't know if you count Blood Bowl, but otherwise it's 4.
Yeah, and then but like what'll happen is like you'll get these little weird like Warhammer, like Tombs of Necromunda or something like that. You know what I mean? Like
Necromunda Hired Gun.
Yeah, that are like off of the spin-off world of Warhammer, but not maybe in it. But
is it by the same people or is it?
No,
that's by Focus Home. Well, it was made by Stromon, and then Focus Home published it. So the way this works is they license it out. They license the license out to a publisher, who then licenses out development rights to a studio. So it goes through like 2 layers of licensing, and then whoever makes it.
Wow!
They just slapped the Warhammer name on it. The license is crazy now. It used to be very tightly held and stuff, but I guess the tabletop stuff prints money still, because I know everybody who's ever played that tabletop Warhammer game tells me that those figurines, I think a tank, like a model of a tank, is something like $280 or something like that. It is.
How big are they? They're just like the size of your hand almost, right? Or are they smaller?
No, there's some that are bigger, some that are smaller. But yeah, the thing about it is like it's very like crass in the Warhammer community to play an army if you don't have the model, and you have to have it painted. We have a lot of Warhammer fans in the community, and they'll tell you that there's what they call a 4-paint rule. So a model isn't considered complete if it doesn't have, I think it's like an undercoat, a color, a top coat, and an accent color. So these guys have to, they have to individually paint these things. So they have to buy these things and paint these things. And the paints are like $20-$30 per model.
Like I want to encourage, like a pine cones and acorns version of this. Just like,
Like bottle caps versus like soda cans.
yeah, pretty much. I feel like that's how this should go down because who's going to spend that? I mean, obviously people do spend that kind of money, but
Yeah.
it's so
Well,
cost prohibitive.
I know.
my little brother definitely. I just now remembered that he does this. He doesn't. I
Wow.
don't know if he plays. He paints these figurines. I guess it's Warhammer because I think he's mentioned it, but I don't know. He always just mentions like, oh yeah, I paint these figurines or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, that's cool. And I look at them and they're cool and he painted. But I don't know if they were Warhammer or not. But now that you mention it, like with all these figurines and how the coats work and how
Yeah.
much paints he has, like I think it's Warhammer. I think he
Yeah,
actually like he buys this stuff and he paints it and with all these coats and everything and
We've got a
Jesus,
buddy-
the work.
in our community, Didacta, you know his name.
Didactautonomia.
He has almost like a little paint studio for these, like a magnifying glass and like a little like board that he sets it
Yeah.
on, and like it's intense stuff. But the Warhammer world is just it's been booming. They're releasing like a 40K version of Vermintide this year, right? That was at E3 last year, right, Merv?
I don't remember. But I believe you.
Okay. So yeah, I think there is, but yeah, there's it's just been kind of rolling around. And I just finished, like, I don't know, I'm still high on Game Pass. I just finished Guardians of the Galaxy on there again. I just replayed like a bunch of Halo stuff, and then this game comes out and it's like, oh wow. I was thinking that what's the weirdest thing to think about Game Pass right now? You know what this month's big game on Game Pass is for the month?
You're gonna
couldn't
surprise me. It's gonna be something super weeby.
It's not Weeby, actually.
Okay.
When you think of who actually makes it, you're gonna be surprised. It's MLB The Show 2022.
Oh, that's a Sony game.
Yeah.
What?
It's releasing day one on Game Pass. Isn't that insane?
That is a little messed up.
Yeah. I'm sure it's because MLB was like, look, this license is expensive. If Microsoft will pay us to put it day one on Game Pass, we're doing it. And then Sony has no choice but to do it. I mean, that's like Spider-Man level of first party, and then they have to release it on Xbox Game Pass day one. That's hilarious to me. I don't know why, but I think it's funny.
I think it was. I mean, this is the console coming from Microsoft of all companies that launched with Yakuza 7 as its big launch title.
Yeah. The weebiest of the weeb games, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, that game is great. Don't get me wrong. It's just
weeby in a
Sorry, go
hilarious
ahead.
fashion.
Yeah, run around and get beat up by the world's biggest whatever that guy was. But
yeah, he's a Yakuza member.
Yeah.
And of course, he does everything just to a stereotypical Japanese fashion. Like Andrew Stephani's just like.
I never played Yakuza till Game Pass.
It's fun, but obviously it has like that Japanese culture as a background trope. So if you have like no like anything with Japanese culture, it's like, what the hell am I playing?
Yeah, there's definitely a couple of missions where you're like, ooh, this is kind of like the girl underwear quest.
Oh yeah, it's
I was like,
yeah, it's called
in the game right now.
The term for that, and I don't know why I know this, is Budasera. Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's not like a big thing. It's not like everyone there's a panty fetishist or whatever. It's just like it's a thing, right? And so they made a whole quest out of it, and it's weird. There's a whole lot of this game that's just weird. You just kind of have to go with it. You have to be willing to
because they're trying to like desensitize the seriousness of the Yakuza.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the joke that runs on. It's just, oh, this ain't that serious. And
like you literally turn the corner from that quest, and it's like slot car racing with like ridiculous, like really funny kid characters.
I remember there was like a cutscene where he like walks in on a room, and it's all like high-end Yakuza members pretending to be babies. In a care room, and they all got diapers on and they're rolling around with binkies, and then he's like looking around, he's like, what the hell is this? So yeah, the game has its moments. You're just like, the hell is this?
I love it. I've got to play through some more, but it is kind of daunting as a series. There's just so many out there, and they all take a fair amount of effort. So
I think I've played 9 of these games now. I still haven't played Lost Judgment because I don't have a console right now that can play it, but they're great. They're addictive. I keep wanting to, like, they can keep making these games and I'll keep playing them. So it's working out for them.
Hmm.
All right, what else have you been playing?
Oh, well, Spellforce 3. One, I gotta apologize to all my friends on Steam because there's something up. Spellforce remastered Spellforce 3. It looks great, sounds great, and everything. You know that I don't know a lot of people know this about Spellforce. The voice in that game is Geralt from Witcher, the video game. So it gets kind of weird because it's like you're almost playing like an RTS Witcher, but it's pretty fun. Um, they remastered it for some reason. Like when I launch it on Steam, it launches 3 games over and over and over and over and over again. And my friends on Discord have been sending like, "Hey man, are you enjoying this game?" Because it's flashing like every 3 seconds what game I'm playing.
I was streaming last night and I saw you popping up on Steam 3 times. I'm like, dang, he must love that game.
So people were saying that. And then I think what it does is because it's remastered, it launches the base game, then it launches like the multiplayer version, and then it launches the actual game. So, but it just kind of cycles through there. Spellforce is weird. I feel like it's got a market and fans, but I don't know if I've ever heard anybody ever really talk about it ever. It's a very mix of RTS and RPG, where you kind of have a hero character with stats, with abilities, with equipment and stuff like that, on top of building an army, and kind of fighting over these control points and stuff like that. Um, the the economy for an RTS is kind of more something along the lines of like a settler's game where you build wood to make stone, to make iron, to make weapons. You know what I mean? Like that kind of chain of supplies rather than just gathering crystals or something.
Right, yeah.
The the story's really good. It's like there was like a mage rebellion. Your father was like the lead evil mage. You were captured from him as a child and brought and raised in captivity to kind of figure out whether you were going to be good or bad and stuff like that. And then so that game gives you a little morality turn to it. But I just haven't heard a lot of people ever really high on Spellforce, and it's kind of like a underrated gem to me, as far as like an RTS goes. The RTS is very paper rock scissors. The knight beats the swordsman, beats the archer, beats the knight. That kind of vibe to it. So there's not a lot of depth to the RTS, but when you mix in like the heroes and the RPG part of it, there's a lot going on. And the maps are gigantic. Like I think probably the average stage is probably like maybe like a 2-hour playthrough map, where like there's all kinds of like hidden secrets and stuff to find and side quests and stuff like that. So if you think about an RTS map taking 2 hours, that's insane. So like the value is there, but they released a remaster of it. I think it comes with the base game, some kind of versus mode that I'll never play because man, that game is way too complicated for a versus mode. And then kind of like a soundtrack thingy. So, if you've like, how many years now, Merv? Probably at least 2 out of the past 6 years now. I've said it's gonna be time for RTSs again, right? It's never happened, but until then, I guess.
I think it might be happening
don't
this
tease
year.
Me.
I mean, there was that Dune Spice Wars game that was coming
Right.
out that you're not super excited about because it didn't look very good. But I think, if nothing else, there's going to be a rebirth of simulators this year.
Yeah.
There's that, it's not Parkosaurus, there's this other dino park game that's coming out that whose name I can look up right now. And there's also Builders of Egypt coming out soon.
Yeah.
So at least on the more simulation kind of side of things, you might be satisfied.
If you think weirdly about like the RTS explosion, right? You kind of had the RTSs, and then you had the people who were like, "Well, I want to do this. I want to build the town. I want to build the city, but I don't want to do the fighting." So you started getting like your Civ cities, and like your, what was like Rome. I can't remember what it's called, but like basically like city builders, but like in ancient times and stuff. And then but you lost the fighting part of it for a long time, and I think that took over RTSs. I wonder if now we're kind of get it in reverse, where people are going to get these city builders back and then be like, well, this is kind of boring. I do want to fight something,
Yeah,
but
I don't know if Builders of Egypt will have combat in it. I don't think so. But if you want combat, Square Enix is actually releasing an RTS this year.
Yeah.
Called the Diofield Chronicles. I don't know if that's going to be up your alley. I think that's going to be more a small number of units on the field and more almost like taking the mechanics of a tactical turn-based RPG, but putting
Mhm.
it in real time. And I
Well,
don't know how that's going to work.
we've had about what 3 Civ ripoffs in the past 2 or 3 years, right? There was Humankind, there was Before We Leave, and there was another one. So
Yeah,
that type of genre is still sticking around. But yeah, I'm like a true, sit around, build units, RTS. I hope Dune can rebuild it, because Dune was kind of the OG of RTSs anyway.
yeah.
But the previews for it has me really kind of skeptical. It looks way more 4X, way more 4X than I would probably like for an RTS. But we'll see. I could be wrong. Maybe that's just kind of what they're showing, because it's easier to give people an idea of the scale. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Than to like one unit shooting another unit probably isn't great for the trailers. So.
I mean, there's also Homeworld 3 should be coming at some point.
Yeah, I wouldn't put the house on it, that's for sure.
So we'll see how that goes. It's a genre that I've been wanting to get back into because I played a little bit of it when I was a kid, and then basically for 15 years I haven't touched an RTS. So I
Yeah.
kind of want to get back into it with something a little more accessible. So hopefully one of these games satisfies that
I mean, so,
criterion.
so Spellforce might be a good bridge, honestly. I recommend it because of the fact that if you really want to play it like as a top-down RPG, like you can almost do everything just with your heroes alone. The city and army building part of it makes it easier, but if you really want to min-max and specialize your heroes, you can get 90% of the maps done just with your heroes. So it's got a little bit of both for everybody. So like think about like maybe if you were playing like a Planescape or a Torment,
Yeah.
and instead of like pausing for battles, it was live action and you're using RTS type controls. But when you found the battle getting a little bit difficult, you could basically bring in an army of 20 30 soldiers or something to kind of tip the odds in your favor. That's kind of more what Spellforce is than I would say like a Warcraft, where you're just sending unit after unit after unit. So
Yeah, that seems like it
Hmm.
might be up my alley. So, MP, we'll get to you in a second because I know uh, you've
I'm
been
just soaking it
playing.
all in. I don't know this game. I'm just like,
Yeah, so
wow.
because I think you've probably been playing stuff off stream and on stream, and then we'll kind of transition into what you've been playing on stream. So, just very briefly, what I've been playing, I started and I'm about midway through Kirby and the Forgotten Land, the new
Man,
Kirby game on the
Hmm.
Switch. And this has been really interesting for me because I didn't have super duper high hopes for this
I was gonna say,
because,
is that a Kirby you actually like? Because I
yeah,
remember you kind.
because I tried the Star Allies demo when that came out, and that was just terrible. I'm sorry. I don't usually like calling games terrible, but it was not, there was nothing there. It was completely boring and just way too simple. And I tried the demo for this, and there's a lot that was appealing about it, but it was also way too simple.
Mhm.
I think it's because it was just literally just the first level and the first boss fight, and there's not much else to that demo. And then when I actually started playing the game and getting to the meat and potatoes of it, it's a lot more challenging and a lot deeper than I thought it would be. And that's been really fun to actually experience and really unexpectedly fun.
Is so what I've watched a couple of streams of it. A lot of people have been playing it when it came out. Um, Mouthful mode, right?
Oh
I'm
yeah, that's a
I'm
thing.
yeah. It seems like they kind of went with like the Mario hat idea almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I thought that's not a bad idea, honestly, for Kirby, because otherwise, I mean, like him sucking things out and blowing things out, it didn't you didn't give him a lot of gameplay. But like when I was watching streamers play it, it was really like, okay, what mouthful do I run? Like kind of like it's almost like a build, right? Like if I do
Yeah.
the dragon fire in this stage, it's going to make this part a lot easier. But then I can't use a mouthful mode to basically like get all the side objectives in this stage, kind of.
So the way those decisions work is that typically you don't have a choice of which mouthful mode to use. They just give you the object you need, and you still
Mhm.
have to figure out how to use it. But when it comes to sucking up enemies, there'll be different types of enemies on the field, and then sucking them up is kind of your build there.
Yeah,
So there are copy abilities and there are mouthful mode abilities, and the copy abilities are where the build idea comes in.
got it.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah, but as to your point about how this is like Mario games, this is pretty much just taking the mechanics of Super Mario Odyssey and slapping them in Super Mario 3D World.
That's
And
why you like it, right?
honestly, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's not super original or anything, but it's executed so well. And I know it's usually damning a game with faint praise to say it's really charming, but it is really charming and also really fun.
Well, people thought that Epic Yarn was charming and then never finished it. So like you can be charming and then still not have the pull, right? So
Yeah,
I think it's got to work together.
this is actually a game where, and I'm saying this as someone who kind of runs hot and cold on Nintendo. I like a lot of their first and second party stuff. There's other stuff that they put out where I'm just like, what are you doing? This is, and Kirby has always been kind of a second string franchise, right? It's not Zelda,
Yeah.
it's not Mario, it's not Fire Emblem. So to see it get this kind of treatment in a game this meaty with so much content, with so much love and care put into it, that's really great for me.
Doesn't this seem? It seems too like this is the first game I've kind of seen it pop up for Nintendo WoW where it's kind of like got the community excited that like, hey, this it doesn't have to suck. This can actually be good. Well, Kirby suck, got it. Dad joke. But like, hey, we don't have to just make it like it's boring own. Like we can run with other ideas with Kirby and not just have this same pattern of Kirby that they've kind of been stuck in. So like kind of like how Odyssey was, right? Like Odyssey was kind of a rebirth of Mario,
Yeah.
So I've been watching like a lot of the streamers I've been watching play it are kind of like, hey, this is almost like a speed run game. Like this game has a lot going on to it.
Oh,
Like in
totally.
each little level where like the speedrunning community might eat this thing up. And I thought that was an interesting take because I know they ate up Odyssey.
Eat this thing up. Sorry.
We can't talk. We're just gonna have to put it on the list with like Sonic, but no, I really like what I've been seeing for it, and I know like your middle Nintendo. The usual guests we have are super high Nintendo. I'm pretty low on Nintendo, to be honest with you. My Switch is like a gathering dust, like just sitting downstairs. I've always been looking for the game to pull me back in, and I think this is kind of like maybe something for someone who's just got enough like a toe dipped into Nintendo land, like enough to own a Switch. Honestly, when I was watching people play the game, I was like, this is something I could get into. Like
yeah,
it's very bite sized. It's very fun. It's cute, like you said.
It's easy to pick up, put down. It's a great thing to play with your kids. Like it's honestly, like it won't end up being my game of the year, but it could be a contender depending on how the rest of this shakes out. So,
because like of all the Switch games I've played the most, like weirdly, you know what it was? It was that Treasure. No, Captain Toad Treasure.
Oh, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. So I was gonna say Mario Rabbids.
Oh yeah, that too. Oh man, my wife loved that game. I had to like pry that thing out of her hand one night. I was like, it's like 3 a.m. But no, I did like Mario Rabbids, but I think Captain Toad Treasure Tracker? Is that what you said? Yeah, that was like to me, and this seems a lot like that kind of style game, right? Like pick it up, do a couple stages, have some fun with it, put it down. It's like I don't know how people play Zelda on Switch. Just being straight up, maybe if they're just sitting in front of their TV, but like in front of me, I couldn't do that. It just my hand feels like it's on fire, holding that thing for an hour. Maybe I just got littler hands or something. I don't know, but
yeah, It gets uncomfortable for me after a while.
Yeah.
So I actually have been playing Breath of the Wild on and off, and I haven't been enjoying it that much.
Yeah.
It's the game where I think there's a lot of cool stuff in it, but it's not really clicking with me.
Well, you kind of miss on open world RPGs anyway, right? So
it really depends. I love the hell out of Ghost of Tsushima, for instance.
Yeah.
Nier Automata was great. Ghost of Tsushima is great. It really depends. It's hard to put a hard and fast rule on this.
I can't tell you why I can do 400 hours of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but then like 20 minutes of Breath of the Wild has me falling asleep. I mean, it just does. Like, I don't know what to tell people, but like, I'm like, yeah, sure, it's great, but
it's one of those games where I can appreciate what they're going for, but I also don't really care for what they're going for. But I'll probably finish it one day. It's just not going to be a priority for me. What is a priority is the other game I've been playing, which is called Anno Mutation M. And I'm playing this on Steam. It is a mixture of 2D and 3D. So I guess that averages out to 2.5D. It's a voxel / pixel cyberpunk RPG. So the way this works is that there are platforming and combat sections, and they're in 2D, your typical 2D action RPG. But any section you're exploring, that's in 3D, and you're kind of viewing it head on, so you can't change the camera angle or rotate the camera. But you transition seamlessly between the two. And this is an absolutely gorgeous game. It's got those really nice cyberpunk vibes. It's one of the few times I don't typically like pixel art. It's one of the few times I've seen pixel art that I actually really like. There's a good mix of action and exploration. I will say the controls are a little clunky. The game can sometimes be a bit obtuse. I don't really follow the plot that well. But just in terms of sheer vibes, what this game is putting across, and it's an indie game. I think it's actually the first outing from the studio that made it. It's a studio from China called Thinking Stars, and it's honestly just really impressive for a studio's first game. So if you're in the market for like a $25, I mean, it's $29 Canadian. I don't know what that is in American dollars. If you're in the mood for a fairly cheap action RPG that's pretty meaty, you could do worse than Animation M.
Yeah, $19, 19 freedom dollars.
Freedom bucks, that's what we're calling
Yeah,
them.
freedom bucks.
Yeah, it'll set you back.
That's not bad.
Yeah, 29 loonies, I want to say. Quite a few loonies. So you can just, like, the great thing about living in Canada is it's normal to pay for stuff and change. So you can just throw a bunch of loonies and toonies at people, and that's fine.
Did I ever tell you the story about the time I went to Vancouver?
No.
Me and three of my army buddies went up to Vancouver, and we were just hanging out at a bar drinking, and I would buy a beer. They give me a handful of change, and I'd just dump them in the tip jar. Didn't even think about it, right? Like in America, if they give you a handful of change, it goes right into the tip jar at a bar, right? Very normal. And I was like, man, these people are awesome. Like, I'm getting good service every time I go to the bar. I'm getting drinks super fast and stuff. And my buddy is like, yeah, the beer is kind of expensive. It's like $3. I'm like, yeah, but I've been giving her this, and then I've been only getting back change. He's like, dude, you're giving them like $3 in tips every single time you get a beer. That's why you're getting such good service, because you're giving them like a $2 coin and a dollar coin every single time. I felt like an idiot. I've been drinking there. I'd probably had like 8 beers that night, and I probably gave her like $30 in tips.
That's amazing.
But it was just like, does it give you a handful of change? And I had no idea that one was a $2 one,
Yeah, the one with the polar bear on it.
Yeah, I was like, like there was one with a duck and one with a bear on it.
Oh, no, that's not a duck. That's a loon.
Oh, my bad.
Wow.
But yeah, so I was drinking all night. It was an expensive night, but I learned my Canadian lesson there.
Yeah. It's totally normal up here. I mean, I don't know, because now everybody pays for everything electronically, but back in the day, like when I was in undergrad, I used to pay for meals and change, and that's just a perfectly normal thing to do, or it was.
Yeah.
So
here like people look at you, if you even give them a coin now, it's like they're like, what is this? Throw this thing in the trash. Give me a credit card.
Oh no, sometimes I'll like do the change exactly. So I'll get rid of change and pay it out exactly. And the cashier would look at me like, what am I supposed to do with this? I'm like, you don't even have to give me any change. I'm doing you a favor.
Put it in your pocket.
Yeah.
I think we're a couple years from just getting, like, I don't know if this is still true, but someone said that like the cost of a nickel is like 8 cents. The cost of a penny is like 3 cents. Like the coin is worth more than what the money is worth. That's kind of weird, but maybe it's like a daylight savings time thing. We'll get rid of coins next.
Yeah, we got rid of the penny up in Canada.
Really?
Yeah, when you pay with cash, you round to the nearest nickel, but if you pay electronically, you still round to the nearest penny.
That's what it was in Korea. They rounded to the nearest 100. You know what I mean? So it's like, whatever. Like you get used to it over time. But this is the other funny thing. When I went to Vancouver, I thought I'd tell you about this. But so like, there's this big bridge that you go over. I don't know what it's called. Right? Gigantic bridge.
It's the one that comes out of Stanley Park. I forget what it's called.
So we're crossing this gigantic bridge, and there's this guy, just a guy, not a cop or anything. He's stopping traffic in the middle of this gigantic bridge while this car is doing a U-turn on the bridge. I don't know why it's so funny, because I was laughing, and like one of my friends like, dude, if you did that in the U.S., someone would murder you. Like no one's gonna let you like stop traffic to let someone make a U-turn like safely.
My God.
I thought it was the funniest shit. I don't know. I was like, yeah, we're in Canada. They're actually nice here. Like, no one's laying on the horn. No one's doing anything. Just letting the guy make his U-turn.
Yeah, I have a complete contrast of that situation. This last Halloween, I was with my friend and he's driving. I don't know what he was thinking, but he's just like, "Oh, I got to make a U-turn right now." And we're in this 2-lane road, and he starts trying to do a U-turn, and there's not enough room, so he's just doing this like 14-point K turn. Yeah, and there's like building up traffic, and of course everyone's fucking pissed. And they're looking in the window, and they see me, and I'm just like, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I just don't know what's going." Finally does it, and like the dudes behind him now, I could see in the rear view, they're just like gesturing with their hands,
just
like
scheming.
yeah, they're fuming. They're just like, "What is this just idiot in front of me?" Now he's only doing like 25, and because we're doing 25, we're just like, did we just do that? Like, did that just happen?
Well, you can do it on the bridge in Canada. Nobody will say peep. So that's the
I mean, it
Yeah.
depends where in Canada. Like out east
Okay.
where I am, people will honk at you if you do anything,
I've
stupid.
I've heard from Canadians that Vancouver traffic is really bad. There's a lot of one-way streets there. It's a very
Yeah.
like U.S. style city. Like you go down the wrong way and you're stuck. Like you got to go. But
Yeah, I've never actually been to Vancouver. I'm going there this summer to visit a friend, and I am actually super excited because I've lived, funnily enough, on the west coast in the U.S., but I've never been at all to the west coast of Canada. So I'm super excited to see a different side of the country.
where every movie ever has been filmed, basically
Yeah,
too.
basically all the CW shows I used to watch are filmed there. So I could see all those landmarks from The Flash.
Yeah, like the X Files, like everything in the X Files is Vancouver.
Yeah, nothing films where I'm from,
Yeah.
so it's all very like not in the American consciousness, but Vancouver is kind of its own special little thing. So I'm super excited to see a city where people are apparently a lot friendlier than they are here. All right, so after that digression about traffic and all that fun stuff, MP, I promised you'd have a chance to talk about something you've been playing. So why don't you tell us about something you've been playing kind of offline in your own time, and then maybe something you've been playing on stream, and then from there we can transition to talking about Twitch and YouTube and all that goodness.
Right, yeah. So kind of the only thing I ever stream is the thing I make content on, which is Destiny 2. And so Kappa has told me in the past that he likes to talk about Destiny 2 a lot. So I won't go too in depth with it, obviously. But what I like to play off stream are not anything too random or anything on Game Pass or anything. It's always something that involves like my friends that I've always been gaming with just from high school. You know, we've always been gamers since then. We're gamers till now.
Yeah.
And it's always something like Terraria, or it's something that we've played since high school, which is unfortunately League of Legends. If anyone who knows what that game is, it is not fun, but it's one of those games where you play it forever.
It's fun with friends. It's definitely fun with friends.
Yeah, it's fun with friends, and then when you get like toxicity in the game, it's just fun to just kind of all be in on that. You know, it's just one of those environments where you got to be with friends.
They've tried so hard to give it like I don't want to say single player, but they try to give it like almost like a tutorial mode. You know, now where it's like you play your first couple matches, it's against bots, they're kind of holding your hand, but once they take those training wheels off, that is a sink or swim video game. You're either gonna
it is. The learning curve is just the steepest, like out of I wouldn't say out of any video game, but it is crazy steep. The characters in the game, the builds you can do, and the repercussions if you don't do it correctly, because everyone will flame you if you do something wrong.
You know what's funny though? Talking about friends that you've been playing with now, I play video games with guys that I've literally been playing games with now for 20 years. Like, you know how crazy that is? Like,
yeah, like that's just something to think about.
When you start talking about stuff and it's like you're talking about something like we're reminiscing about something that happened in 2002, and we're like, man, we are getting old. You know?
That's gonna be me soon, dude. I got it. Like in 10 years from now, I'm gonna be like, hey man, remember that first League game we played back in like 2014? And I'm gonna be like, wait a minute.
I've got a buddy that like we were talking about EverQuest the other day, and like because I was trying to explain to him a boss fight in a video game I was playing. I was like, "Do you remember when we used to fight Golem?" And like we're talking about this fight, and he's like, "Ah, man, that was like 20 years ago. Why do you remember that?" I was like, "I remember that fight. Like I could do it right now if I had to, you know." But it just you get those relationships where you just been like I don't know, like just as humanity to like have a friend that you've never met and you've been like gone through so much stuff with. It's a weird feeling, you know. it's like a bond with a like a robot almost. Like you don't really know the person, but you do.
There are people that I've been friends with online now for 10, 11 years, and we've just been playing video games or chatting about other stuff online for that period of time. And it's strange to think that we've developed these bonds. There are people that I've met online that I've met now in real life as well. And it's so weird that this is kind of our reality now. This is how we meet people. These are how we form social bonds. It's really neat.
Well, even on the avocado, it's 7 years now. You know what I mean? And like people are just starting to realize, like, hey, we started a website almost as a spiteful joke, and now we've been hanging out here for 7 years talking shit. And it's pretty much the same, group of people, but people come, people go, but it's still kind of fun. But I mean, I think League is like a lot of games right now, where it's like more of the social experience, like just to get on the group chat or on Discord with everybody, mess around, joke with each other. Maybe you win, maybe you lose, but it's like a sports game or any kind of other like bonding experience. So it's just once you get outside the wilds of playing with your buddies, League is, oh boy.
Yeah, no, it's League is one of those games where if you take it seriously, you will just be miserable. It's just the environment is not friendly to be taken seriously, especially like in the lower ranks or the medium ranks. Like if you're trying to rank up, which is pretty much the only reason you take League seriously in the first place, you would have to deal with people that are just frustrated, people that have just been stuck there forever. So then you already enter the game with an attitude, and it's just misery. But meanwhile, if you're in like a normal game, there's no ranked system, there's no nothing, and you're with your friends, it's a totally different atmosphere.
Yeah.
You're just chilling, and if you make a mistake, you just clown your friend for it, and that's it. That's the end of it, and you have fun and whatever.
So, like probably the most I grew up in Xbox, Halo lobbies and Call of Duty lobbies and stuff like that. The most heated I've ever gotten at another human was in a Dota 2 match, where somebody was like basically said like, there's rankings in a lot of these games, but at least back then in Dota 2, you could party with somebody and play kind of like a rank above, if that makes sense, right? So like you're like, Little League baseball, but you're playing in the the minor leagues all of a sudden, right?
Right.
So if you partied up, and this guy was just awful. And I mean, like, I was really trying to like, I'm going to take this game kind of seriously, going to try to work on my ranks, get a little bit better at Dota. And this was back in the day when Dota was like having like $1 million tournaments. I'm like, maybe I can be a Dota player, but this guy was like, oh yeah, my friend, I party with my friend. I'm actually really good. But I've got a new account, blah blah blah. So he's gonna let me play with him. And the guy was the worst player I've ever seen in my life, like almost intentionally being bad, And I mean, I kind of had a heated game moment.
You had a gamer moment.
Oh no!
You shouldn't be here. You don't belong here. Yeah, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And
what are you even doing here?
I kind of like
you're gonna queue for this game and not even try.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
But what ended up happening was I was like, man, this isn't good for me. Like I actually uninstalled the game after that because I was like, I was so mad. I was like, I shouldn't be this mad over a game. It wasn't fun at that point.
Right?
Yeah.
Just fun.
But so here's the thing I'll say about League and Dota that's a little bit different than like, let's say like Call of Duty, for example, right? If you have the worst teammates, the worst match in a Call of Duty, that's like what, maybe 15, 20 minutes of your life wasted, right? A bad Dota match with a bad team can go on for literal hours. I mean, like hour, 3 minutes, as much as the other team wants to like basically like stick the, the knife in your back slowly. You can waste an hour and a half with these people who are just constantly flaming each other, screaming at each other, making it as long as they want to, right? Because they're kind of shooting for stats at that point. The other team, they know you're bad, and they know you can't. If you leave, you get a leavers penalty. And
so they're just farming.
So just like
stats.
Torturing you pretty much.
You're like one of those like like the Looney Tunes, like where they're like the punching bag, and it just keeps coming back, over and over again. But it's like I think that there's a place for MOBAs, but like I don't know what it is about MOBA communities where you just you can never really fix them. Even Overwatch kind of got like that by the end. Valorant's super toxic kind of now. But like any game where like ranking is a serious part of it, you're just always gonna, I think, have to deal with.
There's always gonna be toxicity. It's a naturally occurring thing. Like the competitiveness of sports just doesn't transition because you have that anonymity online. So you can be as rude as you want. You could just if something bad happens, you can just straight up tell people you fucking blow.
And so many of these games too are coupled with free to play, right? So even if you go off and they ban your account, who cares? You got a new one in 20 minutes. Do you know what I mean? It's so like the anonymity plus just the rage inducing style of the game sometimes. I mean, they almost feed into it, you know? But I don't know. I don't know how you fix that. I remember League when League came out, what did they have, like the Summoners Court or something like that? What was it like? You signed the Summoner's contract to be a good person?
Yeah, but who the hell cares about that? What? Oh man, sure. Like, and by the way, you were required to sign it.
Yeah.
So it's either click this box or don't play. And everyone's like, okay, whatever. It's like it was probably less.
It's like an honor
involving
code.
than TOS for anything.
Exactly.
Like,
at least TOS is legal sounding. The Summoner's Code was like
Code was like, this is the lamest pact ever. What?
That's thou shalt help thy friends or whatever it said. But yeah,
but like, it's honestly more for the company, right? So they can say they're doing something about toxicity.
Yeah,
so
they can say they're
really
trying.
addressing it. And it's just so interesting. Like the second, like voice chat isn't the norm, everything gets so much nicer, which is weird to say because in a lot of these games you kind of need voice chat to coordinate. But the second you turn off voice chat, like honestly, nobody's rude to anyone else. Like the one guy who'll jump on voice chat to say something rude gets ignored because no one cares what that guy's saying.
Right back on mute.
Yeah.
I mean, I might have to disagree with you there just because League doesn't have voice chat, so the only way to be rude is through text chat.
Yeah.
So it's just that's the only funnel. I mean, I guess if there were well, there is kind of the option to have voice chat, but they have to be in your pre-made queue, you know, and you're not gonna really go to voice chat to flame someone that you pre-queued with.
The weird thing I think is like there's always like even with Hearthstone, right, where they don't allow any kind of chat, there's always this becomes the bad manners move, right? Like well played in Hearthstone, like if you just keep spamming well played when somebody does a bad move, it's just like that's like they find a way.
Dude, yeah, it's the passive aggressiveness of it. There's same thing with League. You could disable all chat. You could disable all chat in general.
Yeah.
But people will still have there's a pinging system, right? And if you want to say that something is missing or an enemy is missing, there's a little question mark that pops up. And if you want to just like be like, dude, what the hell was that? You just put a question mark next to your teammate. You're like, and then you spam it. You're like, what are you doing? And it's like people know now. Like, wow, there's always a way.
There's always norms.
Toxic.
Yeah.
In Dota, you can write on the mini map. Like if you hold down Control and like click, you can write on the mini map to like organize whatever, but like people would write on the menu like mid sucks bot troll like literally
I think that's funny. Like that's like tasteful toxicity in a sense,
but like I don't understand what that accomplishes. So like you say the person on your team sucks, but like it's not going to make them better, right?
No, it won't. But that's what's funny. It's just like, oh, we've divulged to this pettiness now. So I guess there's no turning back because there's a point of no return in any game, right?
Yeah.
When people are arguing, you're just like, it's screwed. It's over.
Everybody just gets so like committed to like ruining the other person's time,
exactly.
winning the match. Yeah.
Yeah, and like when I like locate that point, and this is just from playing so many League games. When I find that point in the game, I find that so amusing to me. I'm just like, oh wow, this is it, man. This is where people just they go primal and they just don't turn around and they just
go in the jungle and start chopping trees or something.
Dude, yeah, they're just chilling there. They're like, I know it because there's two people standing still in their respective lanes, and it's just typing, just constantly, flaming each other. They're just like, what the hell are you doing? And then they die from
You're
typing.
Just kind of like sitting back
fault?
and watching it all unfold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you're on their team, it's like kind of bittersweet. You're just like, well,
I guess this is the entertainment I'm getting today.
And then you just start saluting as your ship sinks, just further
and
further.
Exactly. You're playing the violin.
And then you lose. And but like at least for any like dying grace of a game that you lose, that type of toxicity just gives me a shred of amusement. You know, just watching it, just watch people lose their cool at each other. Like I don't know, I get that. People will hate that about League just completely. You know, oh man, the toxic environment. Like I just can't stand it. But at least for me, like I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. Obviously, if it passes that threshold of like, oh, now they're really being like racy or offensive, or they're telling them to like, oh, you should take your own life, or man, I hope your family dies. It's just like, damn, okay, cool. Like we don't need to go that far.
I just always like think about like in Dota, at least it would always be like, you get so like there's different roles, right, in a MOBA, right? And like someone would die, and it just I would always play support, and the very first thing they do is like they blame support. They're like, you didn't ward this weird specific spot, you know, and you're like,
that's such a trope in video gaming for competitiveness is that it's never your fault, you know,
yeah,
it's always someone
exactly.
else's fault.
So then
It's
they
like
the support, and then the tanks start going at it, and then like the mid or the jungle starts getting in on it, and it's just like everybody has to pick their side of like who was right and who was wrong in the argument. Whoever loses, who was wrong, they just decide to stop playing, of course.
They should just have it so that you could pause a game and then you all go to court and then you all have a jury and a judge in the middle of the game. All right.
They should have like a little like Judge Judy avatar who shows up.
Yeah, and be like, all right, who messed up here? All in favor? All right, the word was misplaced. Do you have anything to say?
Clearly see the gank came from stream. There was no way I would have warded that.
Yeah, objection denied. You're found guilty of sucking. And then it just goes back to the game, and I was like, oh.
Well, we fixed MOBAs. I mean, just
there you go.
Just like, can you explain this death, sir? Your Honor, cry about it. Boom. Case closed.
Get wrecked, Your Honor.
Yeah, get wrecked. Yeah.
Oh man. So, I guess you also play. That's what you play off stream. I guess you also play some stuff on stream, and that's mostly Destiny 2, correct?
Yes. So I am a Destiny 2 content creator, and it's pretty rare for me to play games on stream that are not Destiny 2, just because I know my audience, they love when I play Destiny 2. They love to watch that. I have played other games off stream, like I have played Halo, I've played Sea of Thieves. I had one Valorant stream. It did okay. It was like when it first came out, and everyone was just like, "Ooh, I got to dip my toes in this," you know?
Yeah.
But other than that, it's like 99% Destiny 2, just because all my content exclusive to that.
And so speaking of, I mean, just as a Destiny fan, one of the things, since we're talking about like competitiveness in the Destiny 2 community, it's kind of there, but not really. Like, I think most of the content creators now who do exclusively stream PvP have kind of understood there's not an esports future for Destiny.
No,
like,
absolutely
not.
There's no ranking that's going to come down. There's no, you know what I mean, like $1 million tournament. They've tried here and there, you know.
They did. At the beginning of D2, they made it so that teams were 4x4. You moved slow as hell. You had, gunplay was the primary focus, but it was so mind-numbing. It was so boring. Yeah. And it didn't work. And just nothing formed. A meta was just it was so narrow, and nothing productive came out of it. It wasn't a fun experience. Like, even though CSGO...
It's so weird that they would slow you down and reduce your mobility, because the main attraction of Destiny is jumping like 30 feet into the air and like, raining fire down on enemies from above.
Like, and even at top tier, like competitive play, there's just so many millions of variables in Destiny. The class, the subclass, the weapon type, who's got ammo for what, who's got position for what, where you've spawned, where's the, there's just too much to make it even. Like, if you think about a lot of like, esports shooters, everything is very even. Like, look at damn Valorant. Like, the map is just symmetrical flipped, you know what I mean? And then everybody's got these little same walkways. That is not Destiny at all. And so like,
there's so many different roles and, obviously combinations of classes, mods. It's just things that you are not able to control because these are random jobs. Right?
Yeah.
Armor rolls and just everything like that. You can't start the game at an even playing field because it's already like a contest of, all right, who has played the most to get the best gear.
Right.
Like, anybody that is like wanting to start competitively, they are already at a disadvantage.
And the weirdest thing about this, and this happens a lot, is like, let's say you've put in the effort to get that great weapon, right? Well, now when you kill people with that weapon, people get mad that you're using that great weapon because you're crutching on this great weapon. It's
that's another
weird.
thing about Destiny, is that there are a lot of things that people will claim to be cheesy, things that are unfair, things that are high reward, low risk, and there are tons of them. There are tons of things. If you probably not a lot of people, but they're for scrims. If you've ever seen a rule list for Destiny 2 scrims, it is miles long. Things that you're not allowed to use, restrictions on certain things. It's like, God.
You're barely playing the game at this point. Just go play Halo.
Because Because, well, okay, it's reasonable though. There are tons of things in Destiny that are just like, oh my God, really? You're using this? And kind of to a certain thing, like I said before, there's a common video gaming trope where you will like blame the other side, like because you just don't want to reflect on yourself. But for Destiny, there's so many aspects of competitive play, quote unquote, that will make it seem like there's zero room for counterplay.
Mm-hmm.
Like stasis is one of them. There are certain guns that are just like, if you play it the right way, there's no way you're going to win against it.
Yep.
If you play, there's a gun in the game called Chaperone, and if you know your ranges to play and you wait for the team to push, they can't outplay you.
Yeah, you're just stuck.
And then you get massive range, and it just doesn't work in a competitive setting. It doesn't work.
If you were
almost like they'd need to strip out all the customization you put into your character to make PvP viable, and at that point,
then who wants to play that?
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, but here's what like I've been wanting to say. Like, how did Apex create a competitive scene for their private mode, their arenas, right? Mm. They turned an RNG-based game into something that you can control.
Yeah.
By starting it out with rounds, you earn an economy, and then you buy what you think is your strength, right? So I want to say that Destiny could kind of do something like that, but then again, how? There's so many variables. At least with Apex, it's just like you have a gun, you can put an attachment on the gun, and then you have armor, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And then for Destiny, there's stats on your armor. There's all sorts of different mods, and then there's stats on the guns, and then like perks on the guns,
and then abilities and timers and stuff. It's
yeah. So it just feels like there's
complex.
Not even it's complex. Yeah, it's too complex. That's why people have these mile-long ban lists, because they think certain things are unfair, and if you even want to play scrims in the first place, you have to agree to them.
But what the effect I think that's had on the Destiny PvP community though is that it's kind of a more chill vibe, honestly. Like even at like if you're watching top tier PvP streamers, it's kind of like they got me. Next match. I think it's
you're not seeing like those rage compilations.
Yeah,
that get posted on
YouTube.
YouTube.
Sometimes people will. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes there's some very cheesy thing that comes out, and it does get that way. But I think most of the time, like even if you're watching like top tier, they call them 3-stack PvP players playing together, if they lose one, just like regular players, they go, oh, unlucky, or they had a good idea, or they had a good strat, or they played that perfect. It's much more like that kind of vibe.
I would say I would almost disagree with you there, because like there are one thing that also makes Destiny just not competitive, if I want to choose the subject, is just that there's countless bugs with the game. It's dysfunctional. The melees with by the way, the mechanics of any melee in Destiny 2 is just wonky as hell. You can melee from miles away, and your character model to the POV of your enemy is just going haywire on the screen. And it's like, how do you shoot that? And it's just an unfair advantage. It's almost like a smoke screen in your face, because you're just disoriented from watching this epileptic seizure of a model go across your screen. And on top of that, there are things that just don't connect. There is a no-reg issue with certain weapons. There is just...
I think we're kind of saying this, but like, it would be weird for me to see a clip of Frostbolt raging at a person instead of Frostbolt raging at a melee whip.
Oh,
you know what
of
I
course.
mean?
It's never that. It's never that. It's always like, oh, dang, like, really, dude, you're doing this, and then like, oh, really, Bungie, you let this happen.
Yeah, exactly. So there's more of a push for the game to get better than the players to, like, you've kind of entered a free-for-all, and whatever kind of goes on in there goes on, and you just got to deal with it. But I think the good and the bad of the community itself is that a lot of it's almost like, I don't know, like it's like getting beat at like chess or something, when there's so many millions of different things that went on by the time you've gotten beat, like decisions that have been made or things that did or didn't happen or stuff that, like, it's a little more accepted when you lose than just like, it sucked that this thing didn't happen, but I had 5 rounds to win it. And, if they beat me, usually they kind of earned it, I guess.
Yeah. It's I don't know. The whole thing with Destiny 2 for competitive is just the randomness of the game's nature, the bugs that are present in the game that don't seem to be getting any attention, and on top of that, there are just basic underlying issues in any competitive setting for Destiny 2. Like, hang on, let me explain. Like when you die, your ghost remains where your body is, and then you can just spectate your ghost, and it behaves as like a camera now that you could shot call for your teammate. That's not competitive.
Yeah.
And you 3-peek for your team now. You're in the third person for your teammates, and you could just shot call stuff. You could be like, oh, he's around this corner. It's just this guy, and it's just now you have to think about this. And not only that, there's radar in a game where you can slide and just destroy people with shotguns
and hover.
And and you could jump. You can. It's like, goddamn, man. There's so much. There's little room for competitive nature. You don't see these aspects in other competitive shooters.
And I think other shooters are struggling in some ways because I think they like the idea of the super customized characters and stuff like that. Like, even think about Call of Duty Warzone loadouts, right? How there kind of becomes a meta, and this is what everyone uses, and it just it kind of ruins the game for a little bit. And I've seen it a lot, even with what they try to do with the new Battlefield, right? They want to give you those classes, they want to give you this, and they want to put it into a shooter, but it takes away a lot of the, the basicness of the game. And once you get away from everybody starts on the same footing, that's when things start to get messed up. Things start to need to get patched. I mean, even Infinite right now, Halo Infinite's in a weird spot for multiplayer because they've got no hit reg melees. 10 times worse than Destiny. You can walk through other players in Halo, there's a lot of issues out there. And, it's weird, like, as games get more complicated, I really do think that you lose a lot of that. Everybody starts on the common ground with the same thing. And it feels cheaper for one person and the other person feels overpowered. So, but yeah, I don't know if that's unique to Destiny, because I like, even I'll see in, like, people complain about Halo, people complain about Call of Duty, people complain about pretty much every main shooter that's not Fortnite right now, saying, if we don't start out on the same footing, then, there's no 1v1, there's no skill gap to close. It's just, I'm getting beat by something that I got beat by before the match even started,
Yeah, well, you lost to the draft.
Yeah.
I mean, Halo almost turned that into a mechanic with the Fiesta mode, where they're like matching you with. Sometimes you're just gonna get a loadout that sucks, and you're screwed.
Someone across from you has a rocket launcher, and you have the shield pistol or whatever.
Yeah, like the sidekick. That happens so many times where I'm like, I just get like spawned with a sidekick and I don't know, like the disruptor pistol, and the other guy has a rocket launcher and a gravity hammer. Like, I'm screwed.
Yeah, like, all right, we're just gonna walk this one off.
Yeah, let's just die quickly. No, my strategy in Halo Infinite is just melee everything to death, which is why when MP mentioned like the melee earlier, I was like, oh, is it kind of like when you have the energy sword, you can just like jump to people? And no, it's an actual bug.
Yeah, you'll go through them.
But here's the thing: with the energy sword, you go from one place to another and you stay there. But with Destiny, it's like they don't know if you want to be at the person that you meleeed or if you want to be where you started when you meleeed. So your character model just glitches in between the two spots and you go haywire. And while that's glitching, you can jump. So then while you're just going back and forth on the glitch, after that's finished, you're in the air. Your character model just goes to a third position somewhere in the sky.
Right.
So you're all over the place.
Destiny has context-sensitive kind of melee. So, like, if you're far away, maybe you mean to throw a knife, right, at something that's far away from you. But also, maybe you meant to punch something that was up close. And it's up to the game to kind of figure out what you were trying to do, right? You don't really have that in Halo, right? Every punch is a punch,
Right.
So there's always a couple seconds where I think the game is trying to figure out, hey, did you mean to throw a knife or throw a punch? And the game has to kind of work out which one it was. And that's why you see a lot of what they call no regs, which is it doesn't register what you wanted it to do. You just end up falling over dead instead.
I mean, the way you solve this is just turn everything to a throwing knife.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Throwing knives.
Throwable melee.
Yeah. Solve it the Assassin's Creed way.
So we're talking about, we're talking a little bit about, how you started making the content for Destiny. Did you like the game first, or did you feel like kind of the content there wasn't enough content for the game? What kind of got you into that, from that playing the game into the making content for it?
Jeez, I mean, it wasn't anything like planned, you know. I didn't jump into starting like to make content on the expectation that I was going to be a YouTuber. I was editing long before I was a YouTuber at all. Like
Mhm.
pretty much like the whole thing, and I tell this to everybody that asks, is that how did you get your start in editing in general? And I was just like, well, my friends and I like to clown on each other, make memes about each other, and it would almost be like whoever went all out the most would win. So I would make the video edits of like the situation. So that's kind of how I got the practice in. And then like it was a run on joke for me that I didn't get a single Forsaken exotic for 7 weeks straight. So Forsaken is an expansion in Destiny that came out like years back. And
Right.
exotics are, big fat drops for anyone who doesn't know. And I didn't get a single awesome drop for 7 weeks straight. And that was the joke. And that was my first video, like my first edit that I uploaded on my channel was me clowning myself so I could show it to my friends. And then one of my friends, you know him, Kappa, Cads, he told me, hey, just put it on Reddit, like see what happens. Maybe people may, find it relatable. I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. I put it on Reddit and it just, it just pops off. And, from there, I was just like, well, I can edit a lot better than this. And
So
snowballed from there.
You're self-taught when it comes to editing. You're currently in school. You're a rocket scientist or something.
Yeah, I'm getting my master's in thermofluid propulsion design.
Yeah, there you go. So this is just something you started just for fun and just kind of took off from there then.
Right.
Yeah, it's a nice. It was one of those hobbies where you just kind of dig into it more. I enjoy editing because it's one of those things where the time you put into it is rewarded with just what you're looking at. You put all this effort and time into something, and then you get this result, and you're like, dang, yes, finally, I made this, and it looks cool, and like I like it. So
Yeah,
right, yeah.
You keep running on that reward system, and I thought that's just kind of what kept me going to learning new things, making more content, and it just kept snowballing, like I was saying.
So was your first big hit the Forsaken one?
Yeah. So the first video, like relatively speaking, the first big hit was that Forsaken. I think it was the Matt gets his first Forsaken exotic video, crazy cops called, all that nonsense at the end of it. Just kind of as a joke. And of course, the first exotic wasn't even from Forsaken. It was like it was Lion Ramparts, I think. So which is an exotic that wasn't even pertaining to the expansion whatsoever.
World drop,
yeah. And that was the whole punchline of the joke. Is that it goes crazy. It's like, oh man, he gets it. But anyway, the next video I posted after that was a video about fighting Lion, and that one did 3 times as better because it was way more editing. Like I kind of thought to myself, like, wow, people thought that was good editing. Like I could just go all out and see what happens, and that's what happened. I made a video right after that, and that was my biggest hit as of then. It really took off on Reddit, like crazy amount of upvotes that I didn't even imagine, and just it was all so surprising to me because I was just like, the hell is happening? It's all these views out of nowhere. And I just kept going with it, just like I kept learning new things. I was like, I could one up this easily, and just kept going and going.
Snowballed.
Yeah, exactly.
So how would you describe like your average video? It's like super over edited, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah. Well, my videos have evolved from what they used to be. When I first started out, it was more like I would take a section of a song that was really just over the top dubstep or something like that, and I would take a gun that's really underwhelming or slightly overwhelming, whatever it would be in the ironic sense, and I would just go crazy with the effects and the music and just like the whole like taking it too seriously type thing, and it just kind of flipped around on itself, and it's like, okay, it's kind of funny. And that's what it started as. But now it's more like, how hard can I change the visuals of the game and make it look realistic? It's like I have recreated the whole HUD of Destiny 2 and just messed with it. Like in one of my videos I posted last year, the DMT video, I recreated whole DMT. I don't even know what to call it. Like, yeah, the overlay display.
Mm-hmm.
And I changed all the text, I changed all the visuals.
So kind of like the foreground, and then you put like the background was like almost like green screening.
Not even. I just recreated every shape. I recreated every font so that it was exact. Every bold, every italic, modification to the font I would do. Yeah, you could definitely check it out and see in what part of the video I put it in like this 3D sense too, so like it just kind of envelops from the top into the frame. But anyway, I'm getting off track. Like everything is exact from the game. The only thing that's changed is what the text says, or like what I replaced the image with, and every placement, every grid, everything is 1-to-1.
Nice.
That's where I get like, that's where I kind of get like my motivation is like, how can I just make this the same thing but change it so that if someone were to look at it, they'd have to do a double take. They're like, wait a minute, what?
Was that real or that
it? Like every perk is replaced with a perk from another game. Every font is replaced with text that is just this doesn't make sense, or it's just from like something that somebody said, like another content creator. Every stat is just random, like it's completely just like
it's like made up numbers.
Yeah, no, I think that's the joke about the gun. I'll just max out. Just like for the DMT, it was like a Winchester-esque gun, right? It was lever action, right? And it was really cowboy themed. So I just had like a cowboy stat, just maxed it up. So like, there we go. And it was one of those things that it looked exactly the same as the other stats. So you'd have to like really pay attention for it. You're like, wait, oh, hey,
like Easter eggs.
That's
almost.
funny.
Yeah, it's full of Easter eggs, and that's where I get my enjoyment out of it. Just kind of putting those in there.
I think what I liked about it was I think the first video I saw, I can't remember what it was. It was maybe like the one with Hush, but what it was especially around this time, montage videos were everywhere. You couldn't escape if you were playing any kind of shooter, not just Destiny, but anyone. Montage videos were everywhere. It was kind of like one of those slowed down songs at the beginning, the characters kind of walking dramatically. Then it's like dubstep of like them getting ridiculous kills and kills.
Okay. As an editor, you're bringing up just this thing that kind of makes me angry now. Is that every Destiny montage is the exact same?
Yeah.
It's slow music at the start, slow paced, and then it's always 3D cinematics with 3D text, and it's like, wow. I feel like I've seen this. Oh yeah, hundreds of times already. It's the same thing, and then this starts with the sniping plays, and then it goes into the more in-depth plays as the music gets high-paced and crazier. But it's cut and paste, and I have plenty of friends that make these montages, and they're great people, and they make great montages. But man, why is it so cookie cutter? Why can't we escape the trope?
You're almost like clowning on that kind of montage now.
Yes, yeah. Because part of it is I think like with good editing, you can make I could get my 9-year-old to get enough clips with enough montage to make him look like a pro gamer, right? A lot of it is editing, and I don't think people realize that until like other people started kind of like anybody can look good in a montage. That's not impressive. What's impressive is like if you can do this on Twitch 24/7, and so you're starting to see. But I remember like way back in the day, like montages in like Halo and Call of Duty, they were all the same. It was this exact like, here's 30 seconds of me doing cool stuff, and like come follow my YouTube channel where I'll never do any of this stuff ever again.
Yeah.
I paid some guy $50 to make it look like I do this stuff all the time, right?
Yeah, right.
And I think even one of your videos was that you basically hired montage editors and kind of said like, here's what you get for $5, here's what you get for
I went undercover, I went on Fiverr, and I hired 4 editors at different price ranges, and I gave them the same clips. I was just like, make me a montage, and it ranged from like $5 to $75. And they were really good, like especially for the price of some of them. One of them was the guy I saved for the end. I don't know what his deal was, but he was doing something, scamming me, I guess. What he gave me was just way off the ball. And, that was kind of what the video was about. Are you getting what you paid for?
Yeah, I thought that was a really cool idea, I thought. But yeah, the editing world of FPS montages was always just kind of like my entry point. And, as like, I would say I was probably an above average Halo player. And then I kind of like, I was a really good Battlefield player. And then I got old. So now it's like, I watch these montages and I'm like, yeah, it's almost like reminiscing. Like I remember where I could get a double headshot in a game, but then I started to realize like, hey, I don't know about this because like I pick up on little things like this guy turns around really quickly and there's like a cut and it makes it look like it's 2 back-to-back headshots, but the map's not lining up right, or you know what I mean, like stuff like that.
Videos.
Yeah.
Oh, true. Yeah, they'll do that.
I started to kind of pay attention to it, and then I think that's right around when I found your YouTube. So, let's talk a little about YouTube because we're old people and we hear a lot about fancy YouTube words and stuff like that. I think especially on our website we'll talk a lot about YouTube and just kind of how it works in general, right? So you've got what, like 200 something thousand ish subscribers, right?
I'm at 221,000, I think.
Oh, wow. It's pretty good. That's pretty good size. Yeah.
My YouTube channel has like 10.
Hey man, it's about your audience, a lot of people take it too much by the numbers.
let's kind of maybe just start with like just YouTube in general, because I think you started out more as a YouTuber than maybe a Twitch streamer. But what kind of was like the biggest part of like growing your channel, or like just kind of getting past? I think everybody wants to hear what's the tipping point. What gets you past that 1,000-ish subscriber to, kind of blowing up?
I I really want to give you some answer that's really straightforward, but the word that comes to my mind is just it's luck.
Luck. Yeah.
It's luck. I don't want to be like that. Like, oh man, you just got to get lucky. But that's kind of it. Like,
Yeah.
you have for you to blow up on YouTube, you either have to get really lucky. People have to really, really like what you're doing, or you have to find this niche that is just not filled yet. And on the internet, dude, like it's so hard to find. Either you find a niche that is undiscovered, or you do it better than the current community.
Because we hear so much about like the algorithm, right? This damn algorithm is why, like, but I don't know if that's always true. I think you're right. I think it's just luck. I think there is something better about your videos than, the guy you paid on Fiverr, for sure, right? But, who knows? Somebody takes off and somebody doesn't sometimes.
Yeah, the algorithm. Oh man. Okay, so the algorithm is this pesky thing toward content creators, man. It's like the blame thing, If something doesn't go right, it's like that's the algorithm.
Yeah.
But for smaller content creators, right? The algorithm doesn't even exist for you yet.
Right.
It's something because you're kind of under the ground, right?
Yeah.
You're just posting videos. They get the amount of views that you get. It might be in the hundreds, maybe in the thousands. But still, YouTube isn't really pushing that out there because they know that the algorithm actually only gains momentum for really, videos that actually get those views and get those likes and comments going. It's like it is like a snowball effect where if your video is getting massive likes, massive comments, then YouTube's like, okay, we're going to push this out on that proportion massively to everyone's recommendation boxes, right? Mm-hmm. So as a creator that is only getting around 100, maybe 1,000 views, you're not hitting that momentum yet.
Yeah.
That's why you got to keep spamming your content in people's Discords, on your Twitter. You gotta get out there on Reddit, especially. Like I would say Reddit is probably the most positive environment for like getting recognized as a content creator, because that's how I got my start.
Yeah.
Because if something wants to boil to the top, it'll boil to the top. And if you are distinguishable, if you deserve the recognition that you deserve, then Reddit will boil you to the top of whatever page you posted on. It will get that momentum.
So it's almost like you have to do something external to the algorithm before you're even engaging with it. Exactly.
YouTube is terrible with like promoting people who just start out. It just doesn't work because YouTube knows they're not going to they don't know if you're going to make the money yet.
Yeah.
And the robots behind YouTube already know this. So that's why you got to kind of prove to them like, hey, I can get these views, man. Just look at this. And then you post it out where, Reddit, Discord, wherever. You get those views, and then once you start getting that momentum, then it'll push it out. But one thing I should say, by the way, is that there's a difference between people who post regular content, like 8-minute videos, 10-minute videos, and people who post shorts. Mm-hmm. YouTube algorithm with shorts and YouTube algorithm with regular videos, I feel like are separate things.
Is that why we're seeing more, like pretty much every YouTuber I follow now is doing like, hey, here's my regular videos, right? My 30-minute videos. Here's my 30-second, 1-minute clip videos. And here's like my 8-hour unedited Twitch stream videos.
Yeah, they have separate channels for that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They do this because the algorithm will screw you. If you are posting shorts on your main channel and they do fantastic, which they probably will because shorts are like the easiest clicks in the universe. They get massive views, massive likes, massive comments. Then YouTube will say, oh, then your channel is now a shorts channel. Because that's what performs best. And if you post anything longer than a short, we're not going to push it out because we know it won't perform as good as a short. So we're pretty much going to stiff arm you into publishing shorts exclusively. Because you make us the most money when you do that.
Interesting as shit, isn't that?
Yeah, so that's why they have they have like their regular channel and they have their like uncut channel, and you see these two
because they know that the YouTube short algorithm will kill your main channel. That's why you'll see clips of your major streamer, and then the regular streamer channel. They won't post clips on there.
I gotta ask, people are finding this out probably by experimentation, right? Because YouTube is very opaque about their algorithm. Like,
what do you mean? Like
they're not telling you, hey, we're not gonna put your longer video in the algorithm. You got to just find out by trial and error, right?
Or are they like publicizing some of this?
For longer videos, it's harder to get out there.
Okay.
Because they like podcasts or just things in general that are just massive runtime, because they don't garner that many views. People have short attention spans on the internet just in general.
Yeah.
And podcasts kind of have that, a little bit of a finer audience. So they don't get pushed out as far.
Oh, we don't have a finer audience, don't worry.
We're not worried yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to start at a podcast, I feel like, unless you're already well known. You got to kind of have that pre-audience when you start a podcast.
Well, so what? And then the other thing, the hand in hand with the algorithm, I hear a lot about monetization. Now, you put out your videos and already they're going to be demonetized, right? Because you use so many copyright claim things that I don't know if any of your videos are monetized, right?
No, they are. There's monetized videos for sure. I wouldn't be making any money otherwise.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Do they tell you ahead of time, hey, this isn't going to be monetized, or do you just know?
So there's a little test you can do. It's really easy for any YouTuber. You upload your video, you just unlist it, so no one sees it, but YouTube still scans it the same way as if it were public, and they'll send you an email. They'll be like, claimed for this, like this song that you used. And I'm here as a content creator in general. I'm fully prepared to accept these claims, because I would rather make a really good video with the music that I want to use versus just a subpar video and then it makes me money. Like that. That's just who I am as a content creator. But yeah, YouTube will tell you. They'll be like, hey, don't use the song. And if you do, like, you're not going to make any money. We're going to give all the money to the content creator that made the song.
Wow.
And that's how it works. If you make like a 10-minute long video, and I think the limit is 7 seconds. If you have 7 seconds of a song you're not supposed to use, you lose all your monetization.
Huh.
It all goes to the climate, and it's like Jesus, you screwed out all your money for the whole video.
You just made like Atlantic Records, like some money on the side.
You made some $1 billion company more money. Well, like in some cases, it's way more money than you're willing to give up. There was for one of my videos, there was a 10-minute long video. It was the Beyond Light video, right? There was a segment where 10 seconds of the video was claimed. And I even did the test before that, and it didn't flag it. And this was the video that was supposed to go live, and it flagged it. And I was like, why? It's the same video as my test video. So I was panicking. I was just like, I don't know how to change this part, because my videos are really heavily dependent on the music, if you've seen my videos. So for me to change this whole thing would mean like I have to really dig in for another week or so and figure out, how do I change this? So what I did was I had to change the way I overlapped the lyrics with the background music, and I kind of tricked it. It didn't really understand what it was listening to. So, but yeah, and what's stupid about YouTube on another subject for how they recognize copyright songs is that you could even have the lyrics of a copyright song claim the original song. Does that make sense?
Oh wow!
So
like the words you said.
If you have a remix of a song
gotcha.
that use the lyrics of a main song, that main song will get claimed on your video.
Huh.
I mean,
it's really strict.
That is how music copyright does work. The lyrics are part of the.
It's interesting that they can detect that, though. Because
that's what I'm saying.
I had this experience. This is much lower level than yours, but I was recording I used to have a parrot. And I was recording my parrot singing along to a song, and like you couldn't barely hear the song in the background, right? But the parrot was singing along to it, and I posted it on like a private YouTube just for my family to watch because it was funny, right? And I got a copyright claim on it, and I was like, the sound was so low in the background. But now that you're saying that, I'm wondering if it was just enough just to pick it up that, hey, this is that song that the bird is singing. Man, this is the weirdest future, right?
It really is.
Robots listening to music all day.
I mean, I get it. Like, obviously, your intellectual property as a musician, right? You deserve compensation. If somebody uses it without permission, like I do that, and I'm totally guilty of it. But just the way they do it, like if you're taking 100% of the earnings from a portion of the video that doesn't even make up 1% of the total length, I feel like it's a little unfair. Like just a tad. Like it doesn't even compose of the main subject matter of the video. But still, you've earned all of my hard work. Yeah.
And I know specifically because I know you've actually done a video with Bungie, right? So
Yes.
Bungie as a content creator is pretty lax about you using Destiny stuff in your videos. I think there's like an 80-20 rule or something like that. Like you have to transform the video from Destiny content at least a little bit to call it your own content, right?
Yeah, that's a general rule of thumb.
Yeah. So the content creators, it doesn't seem like are always the ones, turning the screws on the YouTubers. A lot of them probably like the, what is basically free advertising for whatever you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Except for I think Nintendo. I don't think they play along, but
Nintendo's changed a little bit in that regard. But
yeah,
they're still behind the times.
Yeah.
So generally speaking, when you're getting these claims, though, it's for like
I guess never Bungie.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
No, never.
Yeah, because I don't know if you know about this, Merv. There was a big lawsuit in the Destiny community that kind of
this was recent too.
Yeah, Bungie is literally suing Google, saying, "Hey, you can't issue copyright strikes on our behalf when it wasn't us issuing them." So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. And that was real hot in the presses because for a long time, YouTube content creators have just kind of had to deal with this, And Bungie is the first company to say, like, who is issuing these content claims? Do they have a right to do so? Because apparently, like, someone like just said, "Yeah, hi, I'm Bungie. Take down the following videos," and Google did it, and like Bungie couldn't reach the person who was in charge of the corporate account for Bungie because they were on vacation. So like these videos were down for like 3 or 4 days, and everybody's like, Bungie is copyright striking these things because that's what it looked like it came from, and it kind of like created like a panic,
it was main Destiny YouTubers were out of work for. And they didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, even Bungie was getting their own content pulled down.
Yeah, it's like, what? I thought it was like a Sony thing. Like, maybe Sony had put up some kind of licensing thing that automatically just started going haywire. Mm-hmm. They didn't really set it, or maybe set it too strict or something.
But it's kind of interesting that like Bungie went and filed a lawsuit and said, you can't do this. You're taking down effectively advertisements for our game based on somebody who isn't us telling you to do it. So that's kind of an interesting little spin, but is because of monetization and stuff, it feels like YouTube's kind of tightening their belts, right? When monetization, is this a reason why you're kind of seeing less of like the Jake Pauls of the world maybe on YouTube and they're moving to like TikTok or their own like channels or like selling merch? Is the money just not there right now anymore?
Okay, there's definitely ways cheese your way into some easy money on YouTube. But yeah, the easiest way I think for any like major influencer, so like Jake Paul, but I guess not Jake Paul exactly because he's kind of a boxer now. But if you want easy money at the sacrifice of your dignity, then yeah, TikTok or family content on YouTube is the easiest money.
Oh yeah,
if you make content that is kid friendly, advertisers just eat that up. You get all the money.
Yeah, we went through about 3 years of
massive views. Dude,
Daddy Finger.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, some of the content is just like unregulated.
Yes, it is.
You see, I mean, I don't have kids, but I imagine sometimes parents will just look over at what their kids are watching on YouTube, and you see this just monstrosity of like a 3D model, like 3D Spider-Man and Elsa, and they're just doing some weird stuff, like getting ice cream. And then like Hulk comes in out of nowhere. It's like, what is this stuff?
With Wes, he's 9 now, but this was when he was 3 or 4. This was unbelievably bad.
Oh yeah, because you can do whatever. You can post whatever you want, whatever gets their attention, and then whatever got massive views. Where YouTube didn't care what it was, as long as it was getting views.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it was.
We had a 3 video rule for him. So like if we searched for a video, Spider-Man, right? So he'd watch the next video that was recommended, the next video that was recommended, and the next video that was recommended. Whatever came on after that, it would blow your mind. It would be like Spider-Man giving birth to Peppa Pig underwater. Right? And you're like, what is this?
I know.
How did that even end up there? Like,
I know exactly because they don't look at it. They just don't care. Whatever gets posted there, like,
sure, but like
grabs their attention. You could flag it.
It's going to get copyright struck, right? At some point.
No, it doesn't. It just doesn't.
Because they're making like their own 3D models and it's Blender or
they claim
Gmod
it. They claim it as parody.
Yeah.
They claim it as parody. So under parody law, as long as you make as long as you modify the audio and the visuals, then you're pretty much chilling. There's some certain intellectual property gray area, but that's if they really want to get into it, you know.
But you'd have like Elsa fighting SpongeBob, and like the kid doesn't know. It's
they're just watching and they're just blank face, just oh wow, just looking at it unfold in front of their eyes, the garbage,
and I think
turning their brain into mush.
I think you could probably draw like a line from like those crazy YouTube videos that kids grew up on now to like Fortnite. Like, of course, it makes sense that Master Chief is fighting Alien because I grew up watching Daddy Finger with Spider-Man and Elsa. Like
it's got Fortnite's kind of similar in that, but it's a little bit more sociable, a little bit more friendlier than just Elsa giving birth to whatever the hell. At least now it's like, oh, you could just play as your favorite character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now
and watch Travis Scott and Ariana Grande in a virtual concert.
Dude, whatever. Maybe I'm getting to that pinnacle, or not that pinnacle, that threshold of age where I'm just looking back. I'm like, what the hell is happening over there? I'm 25 and I'm looking at Fortnite and I'm like, why? What is the point of these concerts?
I'm 32 and I can't parse Fortnite at all. It's just so above my head.
So the money maybe not in the YouTube itself, but in all the peripheral YouTube world, right? The merch,
depending on how you go about it, it's kind of hard to make money just exclusively from YouTube because there's tons of rules, and YouTube as a punishment will say no money, we'll take all your money.
So that's why a lot of people have like Patreons, especially if they're doing things like video essays.
Yeah, they have Patreons, they have merch, they just have external ways to earn revenue from their fans that are willing to support them. And you'll see also a lot of content creators that were obnoxiously popular, like Jake Paul, Logan Paul. They've kind of slowed down their YouTube grind.
Yeah, they definitely have.
They've moved on to other avenues. Well, PewDiePie, I feel like PewDiePie is a different scenario. I feel like he's just burnt out,
Yeah.
PewDiePie's been doing this forever. He's kind of made his money, and he's kind of just going with the flow.
Yeah.
But there's other content creators out there that will do whatever it takes to earn that influencer money. They don't care about their dignity. They don't care about what they post. They'll make that money one way or another. They just got to figure out the meta, and they'll exploit it.
Yeah, and it seems like not every, but a good amount of the YouTubers are now like, along with the other stuff, they're Twitch streaming, right? So Twitch seems like I feel like you maybe like become popular on YouTube, and then you take your community with you to Twitch, right? Mm-hmm. In a lot of ways, and then
that's what I did.
Yeah, but that's a pretty successful strategy, I think, where you can, because you want to talk about getting noticed on YouTube being hard. I mean, getting noticed on Twitch is probably...
Oh, it's horribly harder. Yeah.
I mean...
You just sit at the bottom like a rock. Like Twitch has gotten slightly better at it. They'll bubble you up at the top occasionally. But there's not a lot of ways for a viewer, like watching Twitch's page, to witness channels like that are new to them pop up, right? At max, you got the side recommendation channels, but that's at the bottom of your followed channels. And then you have what's in front of you, which shows like 8. Yeah, that are already kind of known too.
Yeah.
For the recommendations. There's never like 0 viewers or 1 viewers that being recommended. It just doesn't happen.
So you have to kind of advertise externally.
It's the same thing with YouTube. You got to get out there. And I have people in my Discord that are, they're Twitch streamers, and they'll put their stuff in self-promo. They'll be like, "Hey, I'm live," and that's what you should do. You should post your Twitch link everywhere you can. Get people in that would love to see you. Like, they just don't know you yet, but once they do, figure out who you are, they'll follow you, they'll watch you, you get that view count up, and you just keep it going,
Yeah, it seems like there's like a 3 or 4 prong attack right now if you're kind of like in this world, right? So you got the YouTube, this is like where your stuff lives. You've got Twitch, which is where you're live and you're building your community. And then the Discord is like where people interact, or you know what I mean? Like the growth of your community kind of happens on Discord, right? Because it's just always there 24/7, whether you're live or you're not, or whether there's a new video or not. There's people engaging.
People chat, they share, people with similar interests still.
For me, it's like people just because they tell their friends.
Yeah, exactly. There's a whole thing about influence. It's actually like a whole study now. There's like people that study like, oh, how does influence like branch out into these different factors, and like how does it snowball exactly, and when does it plateau, and everyone's studying it now because it's a science. Now
Yeah,
becoming a
absolutely.
YouTuber is just
There's money.
it's now a science. People are, obviously, corporations trying to get in on it. They're trying like,
Behavioral
how the
science,
hell
which
did you
is
get so
like,
popular?
yeah, this is my background.
And
Yeah.
can you help Nabisco brands?
Yeah.
It's hard though. It's not an exact science.
Yeah.
The internet works in mysterious ways. There will be the most random, stupid stuff that will get the most attention occasionally, and that will make you insane money. I'm not trying to hound on anybody in particular, but there are certain Twitch streamers out there that you just have to be the right amount of stupid to make millions of dollars.
Yep.
You just have to be the right amount of clueless and just stupid.
Yeah, maybe I'm bad
there.
at this game, but my audience loves me being bad at.
I think there's certainly comedic skill to that, though, right?
Right.
Oh, there is. Yeah. Your personality has to blend in somehow. You can't just be, stupid, blind, dumb, and whatever.
Somebody could do like a really good think piece, probably about like the silent era comedy and like how that's kind of become like the new I'm bad at video games Twitch streamer almost. Like that, like, oh, dude, I died again. But yeah, there's.
Oh, could you imagine editing like a fail comp, but like do it black and white grainy style with like the old like subtitle cards and the old tiny ragtime music? Someone should do that.
Hey, we're gonna know an editor. But yeah, I mean, like I get what you're saying about like some of the people who bubble to the top aren't. Okay, so I think probably our audience would know like Ninja, for example, right? Everybody kind of knows him as like the face of streaming for a long time, right? And I think he kind of had a good balance of personality and being good at the game, right? Of that game being Fortnite. That's not everybody though. There's people who stream games all the time that are awful at video games. There's people who stream a different game every day that are decent, but their audience really wants to interact with them, and they kind of got like maybe a personality that's maybe a little more, you're here for me, not for whatever I'm playing, right?
Yeah.
And that's where you've got a lot of those parasocial relationships going with, I watch this streamer, I don't watch this game, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of the people who kind of bounce community maybe are looking for something like that. But every community has such a different vibe on Twitch that you don't. I'll go to streams and just watch them, and like, man, I don't even know if I want to say something in this chat. This chat is way out of there, But then there's others where it's like, okay, look, we're.
So I was gonna say, like, spamming emotes all the time.
Yeah.
You can't even get a word in edgewise. Why would you even want to try?
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it's like, would you like to participate in the hive mind of the chat? If anything happens, usually, like all the for like really big streamers like that get like 30,000 concurrent viewers. If they even say the word like PogChamp, you can bet your ass that the Twitch chat is just exclusively PogChamps for about at least 5 seconds straight.
PogChamps.
Just boom, boom, boom. That's all you gotta say. It's the trigger word.
I said the thing.
Yeah, I said it. Whoa! And
it's like the Manchurian Candidate for nerds.
You're programming them.
Yeah.
I get it. So one thing I wanted to get into, because this is probably something who maybe for people who aren't super into Twitch right now, there was a little bit of a controversy over a sponsorship deal with a computer building company.
Artisan Builds.
Yeah, Artisan. Yeah. So what happened basically was this: they were giving away PCs to streamers who kind of were under their sponsorship program, but they did it on a live stream. It was kind of gauche, I would describe it. But like, they would look at the person, they'd be like, yeah, you don't got enough viewers, we're not going to give you a free computer, even though you won the drawing, if that makes sense, right?
Oh, that's really gauche.
Oh yeah,
dude.
That's actually awful.
It was so gauche that it cost them the company.
Yeah, the company's gone now. People are like, I'm not going to deal with this company, right? They just don't exist anymore. They can't fulfill their orders. It exploded, right? But I think sponsorships are kind of interesting because I don't really have a good feel for, like, is it somebody that approaches you? Is it do you approach them? Is it just kind of like, hey, especially in I don't think this is a secret, Advanced GG is kind of the Destiny energy drink sponsor, right?
Yeah.
So is that something where like you hit a big enough level, or is it someone who knows someone, or kind of how does the sponsorship like world work? Is it something where like you have to be on the grind to get it, or you just kind of eventually get big enough that they're coming to you?
Well, you do need to have a degree of influence, and for me, it's a mix of everything, right? The reason I got Advanced GG as a partner was because Pure Chill, who's a streamer that we're friends with, he introduced me to AdvancedG because he was already partnered with them, and he told them like, "Yo, be partnered with this guy," and they were like, "Okay, sure," and then that's how that happened. But there's more often than not, they'll reach out to me for a partnership opportunity or sponsorship or whatever, just because I've kind of I've hit that degree of influence. But if you are a content creator that's kind of below that threshold of like where a sponsor might interpret you as influential, then you have to get out there. You have to start sending emails. You have to be like, hey, I get this, here's my analytics. I feel like I would definitely be good with you guys. And then you say, bada boom, bada bing, how can I work with you? Here are my rates. And you kind of got to hedge your bets with that. But yeah, for me, it's mostly they'll email me. Actually, just the other day, I had someone DM me on Twitter, which is actually a pretty frequent way that people will try to reach out to you. It was like this clothing brand, like Agent Inc. or something like that, and they make like sports clothing. I don't know if I'm going to go with them yet, but like it's one of those things that almost just about anybody with anything will try to reach out to you about whatever. Some dude about flip phones came to me, and I was like, how would I even like sponsor this?
Like, how do you sell that? I mean, flip phones are still used in East Asia.
Yeah, exactly.
Phones,
it's a different world over there. And they were like these type of flip phones for people like kids that were like trying to like learn phones.
Oh,
right?
like kid's first phone.
Yeah, kind of. It was a basic flip phone. It had you flip it open. It just doesn't have any apps to like just distract them, right? It was just you call on it, and then it has a camera and then whatever. And I was like, that's cool, but like I don't really feel like sponsoring that. You'll get random stuff.
I wonder if that's like something where like like YouTube is saying, hey, this guy's average viewer is kids this age, like how do they assume that you're?
Oh no, they just kind of guess.
Oh,
they kind of guess. I get people from all walks that try to offer me sponsorship. Ridge Wallet reached out to me, if you know who they are.
Yeah.
And that's not a kid friendly thing.
Yeah. You got a plane you can crash?
No. But
do you know about that, Merve?
Oh no, I hadn't heard about that.
Ridge Wallet sponsored some guy who intentionally crashed a plane for a YouTube video and like tried to make it like his plane had an accident and he had to bail out. And like, so the guy at the beginning is like, oh, this video is brought to you by Ridge Wallet, blah, blah, blah. And then he crashes the plane for no reason. And it was like, all of YouTube was like, hey, you can't crash planes. That's not a good thing to do. That could hit someone's house. But yeah.
Ridge Wallet's just looking, they're just like,
watching
the video like, we didn't know this is what the video material was going to be.
Yeah, the only reason I even know Ridge Wallet exists is because they sponsored 3D Bot Maker, that car racing channel.
Yeah.
So that's how I know that they even exist. And I didn't know that they're sponsoring.
Works, dude.
Yeah,
it's probably a good time to give a shout out to our sponsors, Merv. Let's hit up the roll real quick. MeUndies, Blue
Dollar Shave Club, Jack Threads. Is Jack Threads still around? I haven't heard about them in years.
Probably.
NordVPN.
Oh yeah.
I can't get through any podcast without Blue Apron. I don't know how they make money, but they sponsor damn near everything I've ever listened to. So,
what I've heard about Blue Apron. And now we're never going to get Blue Apron as a sponsor, but this is a podcast service. Who cares? What I've heard is that the meals are good, but the service is so expensive that everyone just gives up on it after a few months of subscribing to it.
Yeah.
And so they're just constantly going through this churn of customers.
What's that, like that rate of acquisition, right? It costs you so much money to get somebody for so long that like I don't know. We've got one at Harris Teeter over here where like you just go and it's like some kind of service. You just go and pick up the meal from the grocery store. I've been thinking about getting that one, but they're all kind of something right now. So, but anyway, so you got the sponsorships going, you've got all that stuff going. So now you kind of like you're at the cusp of YouTube paying bills and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Do you get like a rep at YouTube? Is there like somebody that you can contact, say like, help me grow my channel, or or is YouTube just kind of figure it out yourself?
Nah, they've kind of said like, you got it going on. Okay. You know what you're doing. You could actually, an interesting thing is that after you hit 100,000 subs, you can just go to YouTube's headquarters and use their studio for free.
That's incredible.
Like yeah, they told me that. I was just like, cool, I'll fly to LA and we'll do some work, I guess. Like it's like a computer lab, I would assume, or something like that. But yeah, that's the thing. That's what the extent of that.
Like get you any kind of like software deals, or like pay for
they don't do any of that for you. No,
as someone
way
who has
too many YouTubers.
As someone who's actually lived in LA, it is full of YouTubers.
Oh, sure, dude. That's the place to be.
I would run into people whose videos I watch just like walking down the street or at a concert or something like that. Like I ran into one YouTuber just like at IKEA once. They're all over the place. That place is
Ah,
full of YouTubers.
Yeah, which I don't understand. LA is so expensive to live in. Like,
Yeah.
why would you want to
Like you can
choose
make
to
YouTube
live
content
there?
from anywhere, and I
Yeah.
think it's because these people are trying to parlay it into more of a traditional entertainment career. So maybe
Probably.
Yeah.
that's why they go there. But
Yeah, it's a whole thing. They're like it's one of those also. You're around the community of content creators, so you are able to more.
like do
I don't
collabs
know.
more.
Network. You're able to network more.
Okay,
you know?
yeah.
Is that why?
So
like,
if you ever
this-
wanted to collaborate with someone with IRL content, then it'd be easier. You could just walk
Yeah.
to their house or do whatever.
Is that
So-
why streamer houses are kind of on the rise again? I feel like content houses died in like 2015 or 2016. Now they're back, kind of. Like
But
maybe
that's
more
for like
TikTok.
TikToks though, right?
Yeah.
There's also they're called hype houses, by the
Yeah.
way.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
They are the worst. You never want to live in a hype house.
Yeah.
Just
Imagine
me,
the
like,
most
seeing the-
vapid people you've ever met, all congregated
Yeah.
in one location.
imagine the most obnoxious teenage personality in the body of a 23-year-old, and he's in his kitchen and he's just making TikToks. What's up, guys? We're gonna see if this plate bounces. And you
then,
gotta
like, he
live
gets-
with that.
he
And
gets
like,
to
he's
react
Oh,
to
I've
it,
never
it's
seen a
so
plate shatter before.
Yeah, and he's just like, whoa, and you're like, dude, it's 8 a.m. Can we not? Like,
You know, 'cause
we really just not?
I've been thinking about this a lot. I don't know if you watch Moist Critical, Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's he's kind of more like, I don't know, like a little bit deeper than your average, sometimes when it comes to stuff like this. And he's got a really good like thing where he talks about like the content loop right now, right? So
Yeah.
you've got the person who makes content, the person who reacts to that content, reacting to the reacting content. Then you get like the drama, like the little drama sliver, right? Where there's
Mhm.
drama about him reacting to my content. And it's just this kind of like endless loop now that's going on in kind of like, so you got the drama YouTubers, you got the content YouTubers, you got the react YouTubers, right? And they all kind of like are this like self-feeding organism now.
Right.
Yeah, it's a thing.
So, can I make a really weird analogy for a second?
Okay.
Not to like, I think Hayao Miyazaki is a crotchety old
I knew
dude.
it. I knew it was going to be something.
Yeah, but like he's often commented that he doesn't like modern anime or whatever because it's just so self-referential, and it's only like anime creators aren't going out and being inspired by what they see in the real world. They're just referencing previous anime, and
Yeah.
I feel like that's what YouTube is in a lot of its segments and a lot of its ecosystems. It's just people building like drama videos off
Right.
other people's videos and then taking that into content, and it becomes this like almost closed loop, or it's not even really like a loop because people like something enters the loop, but for the most part it's just people feeding off this chain of drama from other creators, snowballing into like its own culture that doesn't really look outside itself.
It's so weird because I know exactly what you're talking about because I'll sit down and I'll pop on YouTube and it's like, all right, we got to talk about the drama. I'm like, oh, there's the drama.
Like, I don't
then
know these people.
Yeah, but I'll watch them. I'll go watch those damn videos like an idiot. I'm like, oh wow, I can't believe he said that. And then you're 10 videos.
Exactly.
deep.
It's like
And then you get
it's
sucked
like-
in the rabbit hole
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah,
compelling, because they have the
I hate to
skill
admit it.
to
It's almost like go for it. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say they have the skill to edit that video in a way that makes it look so vital. And then
Yeah.
when you
Oh,
take
yeah,
a
of
step
course.
back, you're just like, what the hell was the point of any of that? I don't know these people.
Wait a minute. They just bumped shopping carts at Walmart. What the hell?
Yeah, pretty much. That's
Turn
the
that
source of
into
the
a
drama.
12-minute hate speech
Yeah,
video.
yeah.
Wait a minute.
It's like
And
he's
it's like,
wrong
wait a
and he
minute,
knows it.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
My car had
I
a
hate-
wobble. First of all.
Of course, I get the car with the wobble. Okay, I'm always the victim in everything. It's just, god dang, my luck is so bad. Yeah, they stretch it out, just obviously verbose. Well, in this weird hypothetical I just made up.
And then they'll
No,
say things like,
that-
"Sorry guys, I haven't made a video in such a long time that I'm still reeling from the card incident a few weeks ago."
Oh my god.
Check it out on my shorts channel if you need to get caught up. But
Yeah, links in the bio, guys. I'm really just like totally torn. By the way, new merch is out. It's just kind of a real disconnect just from any type of actual
Like, I
social
wonder if
ability.
you could make a parody of that channel that's indistinguishable from the real thing. because
there
I'm
are parodies
sure,
out there,
yeah, because I know that there's parodies out there, but it's like performance art. Put it out there.
Yeah,
Make a fake channel.
like an AI makes YouTube drama channels.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
those fake memes are just like I trained a bot by watching 10,000 hours of YouTube apology videos.
Yeah, and he made his own apology
Yeah, it's
video.
up
Yeah.
racist though in the end. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a brutally racist. Oh my god.
Yeah, there's unfortunately a lot of bad stuff
Every
on the
bot
internet.
ends up in one
Yeah,
spot.
Like
because
every
that's
bot
kind
ends
of
up
like
either depressed or racist.
yeah, because that's kind of what the apology video is about. It's like, oh, they were exposed for some kind of racism.
Yeah.
What if the
It's
bot was
like
just
I
like,
didn't know what that word meant, even though everyone else my age does.
yeah,
Like that kind of thing.
yeah, it's
Like
always
I
what
was
it
singing
is.
along to song lyrics. Like that's always an excuse.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you're talking about I think I know who you're talking about. There's that
Oh,
drama
I
with.
wasn't referencing anything. This
Oh
actually
no,
happened.
that's an actual YouTuber that had that kind of drama where she said
Yeah.
the N-word because she's just like, I heard it in the music that people sing.
Yeah.
But the way she
no.
was saying it was like just straight up hard R
Yeah.
to someone. And you're like,
I think I know
so
what
what
you're
song
talking
you referencing, dude?
I don't know.
about.
Maybe she's a real big fan of Joseph Conrad.
It
That's
was
right. Literary
I can't
references
remember her name.
back on the podcast.
We could
Yeah,
probably find
so
it
it is
else
this
if we
sort of
look.
closed loop. Sorry, you had a thought about this earlier, MP, and I interrupted you. What were you saying about like this ecosystem?
The drama ecosystem, stuff like that, or
Yeah,
yeah. So it's like it's kind of insider knowledge. Drama gets views.
yeah,
So if you guys, I don't know if you guys know who H3H3 is or Keemstar.
Oh yeah.
oh
No.
yeah,
So you know who these two are. They had a back and forth that lasted about a week, and they made like 4 videos each about themselves, and they got massive views. So like and you just know at the 4th video, you're like, all right, they're milking this. They got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
There's
have
nothing
to
left
be.
to say. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because no, there is stuff to say because they'll talk about what they said in their other video.
It's
They'll
like
they'll be whatever they respond with. They'll talk about that in the next video, and then
it's
the
like
guy
the
will talk
Zoomer
about
version of price fixing.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, yeah. And they just bounce it back and forth until the audience is finally like, all right, this is getting old, and then they're like, all right, it's getting old, stop,
Yeah.
no more, and then that's what happens, and they stop, and they've made their money.
You
And that's
remember
what
like like in the 30s, like when like radio was kind of new, they used to have like payola, right? So
Yeah.
like I run a radio station, you pay me, and now you become a hit, right? I feel like there's a little bit of that going on now with YouTube, right? Like Gideon and what's her name? God, big gigantic stream. Is Valkyrie or Pokimane?
Pokemon's on Twitch mostly.
Yeah, Pokemon's on Twitch.
I think it was
Valkyrie's also on
Valkyrie.
Twitch.
Yeah, but basically like he hate rated her, and then he got banned from Twitch, and then they ended up becoming like best friends and hanging out. And it was like a really weird like moment where I kind of was like, more skeptical version of me would be like, is this just all like an act, or you know what I mean?
Like, how do you come back
Yeah,
from that though? Like,
Yeah.
if someone hate rated me, I would never want to associate with that human. But I don't know, maybe some people are more forgiving than I am.
Yeah, it was Pokimane. So she's gigantic. Like she
Yeah.
gets like 1 trillion viewers, right? So he like back in January he did like a hate raid. Everybody go over there and say L plus ratio in her chat. Go get her, right? So he did it, and then Twitch banned them, right? And then like now they're hanging out together and like eating sandwiches and clapping back at Ninja, who had an opinion on the whole thing. Like, but it's just this weird like ecosystem of like, if I say that to somebody, I'm like, hey man, are you following the Gideon Pokemon drama? People are like, are you okay? Do you need a nap? Or like, but it's when it results in millions and millions and millions of views and videos, and I'm assuming dollars, right?
Yeah.
It's just so interesting to think about like a shadow economy based around like at any moment you could payola somebody onto your YouTube channel and make them a rich person, like just by interacting with you, if you're big enough. So it's weird. Like we didn't grow up with this shit. Like if you wanted to be famous, you had to walk by the right, guy in a mall who happened to be a casting director. Now it's like if you get enough stuff out there, there's always a chance. So.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
there's also the flip side, which is a chance for infamy, and it's almost scary in a way. Like
Infamy pays the bills the same way, though, right? I mean, everybody hates Keemstar, and he's
pays the
getting
bills
4.5
until
million
you
views.
you
Mm-hmm.
say something stupid or offensive and face the consequences. I
Yeah.
know people call it canceling or whatever, but like in most cases it's you said something awful and
Yeah.
I think you
Yeah.
kind of gotta go away for a while and
But then you
go
get
deal
the
with
you
that.
get the apology tour and you get the comeback and you get the I don't know if this is true, but I've heard like certain Twitch streamers will use getting banned almost like a vacation.
Yeah.
It's like a break from the servers. It's like
Oh
otherwise they
yeah.
have to keep
Well.
pumping out content.
Mhm.
So,
I don't
so
know.
look, go ahead.
Sorry, Ambi, I was gonna ask, have you like, I don't know how often you're streaming on Twitch. Do you find that it becomes kind of a grind, or is it something that you find is more manageable?
Oh well, Twitch streamers don't ever want to say this because they don't want their audience to ever know that they don't want to stream or play. They always want their audience to think that, oh man, I just love doing this all the time. But there are some days where you just wake up and you're like, man, I just don't want to stream today. But you got to stream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to keep the audience.
You got to. It's like a job. You got to treat it as one. You got to have a little bit of professionalism with your schedule, and you go in, and you kind of have to, you got to hype yourself up. You got to have a good time, or at least show yourself having a good time, and that's kind of how it is. If any time, a Twitch streamer says, "Man, I just love this game and streaming it every day," 99% of the time they're trolling. They're lying. They're just trying because and watching it and being a fan of that dude, you're just like, man, he's so cool. He just loves doing what he does. But there's a lot of times where it just feels like a break. And I'm not trying to call out any other content creators in the Destiny community, but there were the content creators I've met in real life that have had real life things, and they're just like, taking their break. They're just like, I'm glad I'm doing this. I'm glad I'm away from it all just for at least a few days.
It makes sense, and I think that's one of the reasons. Once you see a lot of streamers hit that critical mass of, I've fully made it. I can stream me, eating rice out of a bowl to 10,000 people, right? You're at that level. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason a lot of them go variety streamer, right?
Yeah.
Because at least that way, if I'm bored with something, I can switch it up and go do
Oh
something
yeah,
else.
yeah. Variety streaming is the like holy grail
Right.
of streaming. Destiny streamers that are big right on the community are trying to wedge their way into that.
But it's so hard because I think especially maybe Destiny more than other games, but Destiny is a game I can always turn on, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I don't know, like some game where like no one's playing it anymore. It's not Command and Conquer 3, where if I started streaming Command and Conquer 3 tomorrow,
You'd
maybe
have
two or
like
three people
3
would check it
viewers.
out. Yeah, exactly.
Uh-huh.
But Destiny is always ongoing. It's always there. There's always new content. There's always new stuff to stream. And what I think is cool about Destiny streams, especially, is like even PvP streamers will be like, "Hey, I'm going to do some raids with viewers, or I'm gonna, you know what I mean? I'm going to go play some other modes and invite people into play with you." Like one of the MP's most popular things that he does is he carries people through hard level PvP content. People love that shit, right?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of other games where you can play with the person on the stream, like you can in Destiny, and I think that's created a really I've watched a lot of Twitch, man, like an embarrassing amount for an almost 40-year-old, but I'm telling you that Destiny is a really unique community in that like the content creators and the chat and the players, it's kind of more like a symbiotic relationship. Like you get big, I play with you, we hang out, and I feel like I know someone famous who plays Destiny, where you don't really get that in a lot of other games like Valorant. I mean, those guys are pushing, diamond tier or whatever. They're not going to just take some dude in chat and play with them,
No.
So I think that's interesting. I mean, you sometimes get Fortnite with viewers and stuff like that, but Destiny, it's like it's almost expected that like if you're a top tier PvP streamer, you're playing with one of your buddies who's good, and then a viewer from chat. It's very, 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 very common to see even like the highest level guys doing a carry.
Yeah, it's great. It's great for Twitch streaming because it's interactive with chat. It gets your community involved, and makes people stick around because now they might have the chance to play with you.
Yeah, it might be me. Yeah, and that's a cool angle to it that I think Destiny's got kind of unique there. And then Destiny even builds in like little Twitch, I don't know, extensions and stuff to
Mhm.
keep the community like playing along, reacting, following matches and stuff. But I mean, I think in the long run, we're talking about companies that are owned by behemoths. You know what I mean? YouTube and Twitch, and it's not like these are mom and pop run organizations anymore.
Right.
These are Amazon and Google. It's you can't get bigger than those two. So I just wonder at what point, like, you could probably think about this MP better, but like where do they like try to get mom and pop coming home and turning on Twitch rather than, Netflix? What do you think the transition is? Is it like just chatting? Is it like what's the big draw do you think that Twitch doesn't have right now to like every
Oh, you mean like what does Twitch do to try to reach older
Yeah.
audiences?
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
what
like
should they do?
people who aren't already in that ecosystem. What's like that?
Oh yeah, I mean they're doing cooking channels now, like cooking subsections. They're doing IRL content sections. They're spreading, like Twitch was originally about just gaming streaming.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But now they're spreading into just categorization of everyday life, and I think that is where we're working our way into a different age range, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously people who are moms and dads, they don't game nearly as much, so they might not be as interested. Obviously, there are certain exceptions, obviously, but for people that maybe just aren't gaming people in their 50s and they're just like, oh, I wonder what's live streaming.
Yeah.
There are people who will do woodworking live streams.
Yeah.
And people who do, like I said, for cooking live streams. It's just a thing that Twitch has embraced,
Yeah, and what's interesting is it seems like this would be like Facebook's area, right? And like Facebook feels like they've been playing catch up with all this stuff,
It feels like they've
They
gone
have,
all in only on gaming content, right?
Yeah.
Facebook Gaming is their live streaming section, and they're paying fat money to content creators.
Let me tell you about. So this is a little personal anecdote. So I went to PAX 2 or 3 years ago. PAX is Penny Arcade Expo, giant video game convention, right? And like every streaming, this was back when Mixer existed. So there was a Mixer, a Twitch, and a Facebook and a YouTube lounge, right? Where like, content creators would come in there and they'd film themselves and, you could meet people and stuff like that, right? So I'd say like the Mixer one was probably like, it was big only because it was part of Microsoft's entire thing. And Microsoft is based out of Seattle. This is in Seattle. So of course that makes sense that was pretty big. Twitch's was like medium sized. They had like a little lounge with like couches and desks and chairs and a couple streaming PCs set up, so you could kind of talk about that. Facebook Gaming was like the entire half of the expo hall. The amount of money they were putting into that, this is like 3 or 4 years ago, gigantic. And it's never taken off. It's never really translated, So
yeah, I don't know anyone who's watching Facebook Gaming.
Me either.
I've never used the service for any purpose.
Exactly. They're just having a hard time wedging their way in. It's like as if someone were to try and make another YouTube and then started paying YouTube content creators to go to their platform. Like, if people really leave, because it's just such a monopoly. Like if people, obviously they'll respect their favorite creators on Twitch, right? But if one of them leaves, they're like, well, I got all these other guys I could watch too. And it feels like such a hassle to just try and learn a whole new platform and try to
look at Mixer. It didn't work for them. I mean, could you think of 2 bigger streamers to hire than Shroud and Ninja, 5 years ago when Mixer did it? Yeah. Probably not. It flopped. I mean, it doesn't exist anymore. So sorry to our Mixer fan, but yeah.
Or like even YouTube has not been able to break into the space aside from VTubers, really.
Yeah.
And like that's a small sliver of live streaming. I mean, it's become an important sliver, but it's still relatively niche.
Well, I think we could probably wrap it up. I know it's been going a little bit, so I want to thank you for coming, MP. It's been awesome talking to you. Maybe you can come back whenever you want. We run this podcast quite a bit, so if you ever want to be on again and rage about YouTube or Twitch, we're more than happy to have you.
I got plenty of rage built up over the years. I could vent.
Right. Yeah. I'll let Merve run the wrap up because that's what he does best.
We do have quite a bit of rage content on this. I was actually just listening to an older episode today just to kind of get into this headspace. And yeah, we rage on a lot of games.
Randy Pitchford and Sonic, they usually catch most of our
Dude, Sonic games are just a fiesta.
Oh no, don't say it. Now we gotta do Sonic Watch. You gotta add the Sonic Watch to it.
No, we're not doing Sonic Watch today. We are not doing Sonic Watch today. I can't handle the blue blur.
You guys want to talk about Sonic 06, or are we gonna leave that thing?
When the second Sonic movie comes out and hits theaters, then we can have a nice little chat about our favorite hedgehog and how much he means to us. But until then, he's gonna stay in his cage.
Yeah.
So, if you would like to keep up to date with the podcast, you can follow us on our website at avocadogamescast.wordpress.com, where we post each episode along with a link that fact checks all the stuff we say on here. You can also subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify, or all three if you're weird. Just search for Avocado Gamescast. I'm sure we'll pop up in the results because there is no other podcast called Avocado Gamescast. If you're thinking of starting a gaming podcast, please don't call it Avocado Gamescast. I mean, we can't really stop you, but you still shouldn't.
I
And
know powerful people.
a lot of powerful people who really
I
want
got
to start a gaming
connections.
podcast. And also make sure you check out The Avocado at the-avocado.org. That is the community that spawned this podcast. There are a whole bunch of lovely people that like talking about not just video games, also movies, music, theme parks, pretty much anything else you can think of. It's there. We're a great community. And MP, if you want to tell people where they can find you online.
Oh, sure. If you guys are interested in Destiny content that is highly edited and just, kind of a joking vibe, you can see my YouTube MP Edits. If you want to see live streams of me playing the game, you can go to twitch.tv/MP Edits. And I also have a Twitter at MP Edits YouTube where you can just see me posting my shorts and any type of, just tidbits, Twitter stuff. If you can handle Twitter, because, Twitter.
Twitter is a fun place for everyone.
Oh, it is, man.
Yeah.
But
Trying
we're
to
at
get
the end
into
of
a
our
political
Yeah.
argument on the way.
Everyone enjoys Twitter.
But yeah,
Great time for all.
those are my main socials. If you guys are interested.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely get some folks to check you out. So thank you for being here. Thank you to our listeners for listening to us, and we will see you next time. Take care,
Bye.
everyone.
Goodbye.